The conversations in this podcast are performed by the cavemen. For your safety and the protection of those around you, please do not attempt to take anything you hear too seriously on the show.
Nice. Feels good to be back.
It's been a minute, dude.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the cave. It's your boy, Joe Reezy. I'm here with Chef. I'm here with O-Reez. And before we introduce our guests, make sure you guys check out our website at cave.com. That's cave4v3.com. And if you want to join a Discord community filled with crazy-ass people like you and me 24/7, check out the comments for the link. But if you're watching this later, you can find that link on our Patreon page. That should be on our website, cave.com. Again, k4v3.com. We got FantumMENACE and CharmingKARMA on the show tonight. What's good?
What's happening, Thanks for having us.
Hell yeah. So you already know we about to get spiritual, and we're going to talk about some music. You know, you guys are artists. I listen to your music. You guys kind of feel like around the time when Flatbush Zombies, Pro Era, and, you know, I feel like Kendrick Lamar was finally starting to get his flow around that type of time. You guys kind of sound like that kind of hip hop, which I really like. And you guys are from Cali, so almost you guys kind of have a Dom Kennedy and what's her name? No Name Gypsy, I think. Yeah, I think you kind of sound like her, Charmin. So I'm glad to have you on.
Dude. It's actually funny. A lot of people say we sound like the East Coast. So I don't ever really hear as people say we sound like the West Coast, which I like to hear, because as much as I like the East Coast, and I know No Name is from Chicago, so obviously that's a different case. But in terms of like everybody else, we get a lot of different views. But I've heard Diggable Planets, you know, people say we sound like Diggable Planets. And just like some old school groups. So I like to hear.
But it's funny though, because it's always people not from Cali saying that we sound like these other people though. Usually people from Cali, they could get that, you know.
Yeah. Hell
really
yeah,
from
man.
Cali, bro. Like then you know it's that or you go a little bit up north, then it's that hyphy shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So those are the two niches of the north and the south. So if you ain't on that
kind of
sound,
branded, right? There's like
if you ain't got that sound, they ain't not really gonna consider you Cali as far as like
that's
music.
true. Those are like the key sounds that came out of Cali.
So who are your inspirations? Like what got you guys making music, and is there an outline that you kind of try to follow when making music?
Well, it's funny because for me, like the people you listed off, I listened to all those guys when they came out, you know. But so influential artists for me, I kind of have this like there's kind of like this timeline. So first off, it was Lil Wayne, and it was for like the reasons of like first of all when he went on those mixtape runs, and then like
Weezy.
Like delivering those like those lines where you had to listen back to the song like 3 or 4 times and like, oh snap, like I just caught that, you know. Like that's something that a lot of people don't really have right now in their music. Like obviously Kendrick is showing us that, bringing that back, where you literally have to listen to the song so many times to catch all these little things, you know, like that. But so like Wayne was the first one, and then when I heard MF Doom, that was kind of like the second time where I heard an artist, and it like kind of like shifted how I do things. So I was kind of like, okay, these like he's rhyming so many times in a row, like he's using like cartoon references and putting sound clips in the music. So like each of these artists, like I kind of like took an aspect of that. So like I use a lot of like putting sound clips in my songs and stuff like that. I learned that from him, and then like rhyming a lot of words in a row. And then when I learned about him, it was kind of like Madlib and Jay Dilla. Like that was just like I learned about them at the same time. They all kind of had that same vibe, and I learned a different thing from all of them, you know. And then I feel like next was like Jay Electronica, because he was super lyrical, but then he added like spiritual aspects into the songs that I hadn't really like heard too. So that was like really big for me. I was like, okay, tight, like I can do that, because I was already doing that actually before I heard him. So when you know when you hear people on a bigger level start to do that, you're like, okay, like maybe this is possible, you know. And then definitely like the last stage for me, Kendrick was one of the artists, like I listened to him since he started. And like just the intricacy of like even that whole label of making like projects that were like themed around concepts and like conceptual albums. Like I usually, when I make an album, I kind of want it to be conceptual. There's like a theme to it, you know, skits and all that stuff. So like I would say for rapping, that was like the main core of kind of like what built my style.
That's dope, man. Yeah, Lil Wayne was, I feel like, one of the first artists that kind of made rapping almost like a stand-up show, you know, because it was funny. The shit he be saying was funny. You know what I mean?
Geez, keep it silent, like the letter in lasagna.
Yeah, like
keep it silent, like the T in lasagna or some shit.
Wheezy F, baby. The F is for
fuck you or something. He says some stupid shit. It's comedy rap. Like that's what some of me and the homies used to say that shit back in the day. We used to listen to him and used to listen to Wiz.
There wouldn't be a 2 Chainz without Lil Wayne, or you know what I mean? Like that
2 Chainz too.
Entertainment rapping. Yeah,
Big Sean, you know his song "Ass." That shit comedy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That shit's hella. That shit make you laugh.
And even like MF Doom, he has hella fucking punchlines and jokes and shit in his shit too. So yeah, I like those artists who can add that like that element into it.
Not to switch everything up, but with those artists, what do you guys think about NF?
Who's NF?
Really? Let's look him up.
Yeah. I gotta
dude.
know.
Is he?
He kind of has like an Eminem kind of
he looks
vibe,
like
but
Joker, kind of. Yeah.
He kills it, dude.
So many artists though, bro. Like it's hard to.
I'm blown away.
Everybody. There be artists like there be people who be like, I don't even know who Immortal Technique is. I'm like, you don't know Immortal Technique?
Yeah,
Holy shit, you know what I mean? So
and like Jedi mind tricks, like that's a cool ass thing.
Some motherfuckers just be under the radar, or like what is it, Tribe Called Quest? There be people who have never even heard a Tribe Called Quest. So I mean,
I'm sorry to this.
No, all good.
Sorry to this man. I've never heard of him.
He's sorry to this.
How does he sound, Chef? Is he like an Eminem?
Is he a clown posse dude? What's up with his?
Yeah, I feel like
when I first. No, this has nothing like that. I've never seen that photo of him with the little Joker thing.
I totally thought that was his gimmick, bro.
Like a cosplay and shit.
But he sounds a lot like Eminem, dude. He does in a way, but he's got kind of some softer kind of storytelling time shit. Badass. Highly recommend just to go give him a check out.
Didn't rap about fucking mannequins, huh?
I'll check that shit out for sure.
There's so many genres of rap now. There's like comedy rap, you know what I mean? Like I'm talking about like corny comedy rap. I don't know if you guys have heard of Miles. No one's heard of Miles?
Miles?
All right. Yeah.
Is that light skin?
I don't know. He wears a shiesty, so I don't know how he looks.
I'm thinking of Kyle. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Are these troll rappers? They're like trolling, just rap.
Yeah, they're troll rappers. You know, there's like almost. I feel like Drake music too. It's almost like culture vulture, just pop music. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a pop artist. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Like,
but when I hear people saying they listen to MF Doom or they listen to Earl Sweatshirt, like I feel like those are the people who like really listen to rap to the point where they might even cross the threshold into writing raps too.
Schoolboy Q, Absol, you know what I'm saying?
Speaking of, Absol just dropped. You guys hear that album? He was one of my favorite rappers and I thought was the front runner of this like conscious rap movement, you know?
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to get that going, bro, because there's no money in saving lives. There's no money in saving lives and giving truth. You know what I mean? There's money.
I feel like there is now, because like even if they're all together, you know what I mean? Let's say like Drake and Kendrick are really like homies and they're just kind of perpetuating this beef or flow. You know what I mean? Which possibly could happen, but I feel like there's a movement of, we're the real rappers. Let's take it back to creative shit and hip hop. You know what I mean? Because all that like Drake pop stuff is, gay now. You know what I mean?
Those things can coalesce, but they won't be the money makers. They won't be in the spotlight.
I'm
They
saying
won't be. They won't make you motherfucking Jay-Z rich, but they can make you rich.
Yeah. There's
They put
movements
you up
like
there,
Rock
but-
the Bells.
Be a billionaire, but you might can make a good living off of it because
you definitely
that's
can
just
make a
where
living.
we at right now, you know. But like if we're talking about industry standards, superstar standards, maybe not.
Yeah,
you know?
no, that's what I'm saying. Everybody wants to be a superstar. That's the end goal for most artists. That's what they, you know, when they talk about, oh, I want to be an artist when I grow up. They're like a full-fledged artist. That's the peak. You know what I mean? That's what everybody thinks when they're on their journey. They're not thinking that they're going to get to this halfway point and have to just be okay with it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I hope if you're a conscious rapper, you're not trying to be in the industry.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. You should just be doing it because you love it. You should be doing it because you love it. But I seen some funny shit that Logic said. Like he was like, "Yeah, I'm working on my next project. You know, I drop a few conscious projects every now and then, but then my pockets be a little empty, so I need some cash real quick. I'm gonna drop this little trap shit.
I like that shit. Be real with it.
You know that's being realistic and practical. Like you can play the game a little bit. You know, I just spoke to some fucking people, some Freemasons, and they told me, like, you know, sometimes you got to sell out a little bit, you know, sell your product out a little bit so you can just, you know, make your ends meet. You know, you don't have to live outside of your means, but make your ends meet and then peace the fuck out.
You want to get by for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like, though, when conscious rapper does quote unquote sell out, like you still get conscious rapper lines in there, right? Like even Logic, despite the club banger albums that he's dropped, he does have some pretty cool lines still ingrained into those tracks. So
apparently when these songs get screened, a lot of these ARs come back to the drawing board. They bring you there and they say, "Hey, we like what you did. Can you just make it stupider?"
Dude, a lot of people don't like take that in consideration when they look at the credits of who wrote the song, you know, instead of thinking that, oh, this person didn't write the whole song. No, there are a lot of editors that have to okay the final product and they get credited too, you know?
Yeah. So, I mean, you'll get that a lot. They'll have their hands all on the project. You know what I mean? Songs get cut and whatever, man. You think this one's going to be a A-lister and it's cut, and the one that you didn't even like is the one that they're putting on billboards and shit. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. That's if you 360 though. We independent in this bitch.
Yeah, I don't know. I was really into hip hop, really into rap. The Diddy stuff came out. I kind of did a James Harden backstep off of rap, you know. But it sucks because the kind of rappers I like are like the Lupe Fiascos, the Capital Steez, the Absols, and I feel like that genre of rap is starting to emerge again, you know. So it's kind of bringing me back into it.
The power vacuum,
yo, and I can't deny the creative, you know what I mean, aesthetic of rap and hip hop. You know, just I don't know. I think it's the fact that it does remix all of pop culture, everything that we're programmed in, and making something kind of fresh out of it that just pulls in our DNA almost. You know what I mean? In our being. I don't know.
It's
we're entangled.
It's tribal in nature.
Entanglement.
It's tribal in nature, if you ask me, man. Because when I was battling when I was young, bro, that's what it felt like. You know, like you're just in this circle, and then people are just screaming, going up and down, and you're spitting your lines, and you're just murking your opponent and shit like that on some like honorable terms. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's some tribal shit going on there. You know what I mean? And
I agree with you on that. And
I don't know if it's something that we've done years ago, but yeah.
I was just gonna say, I'm gonna go back to what you said about Drake and Kendrick possibly being friends, and I agree with that statement. And the reason why I have to say that I feel like they cannot be friends possibly behind the scenes is because you don't call your friend a pedophile, and you don't call your friend and their friends a pedophile, and you know, and have everybody national, international singing it, and like behind the scenes, you're like, yeah, we.
Oh yeah, them niggas
like,
really beefing.
We made money, you know, like
them niggas really beefing.
Like, I don't think they could be friends behind the scene because there's so many other ways he could have approached that situation if they were friends, like in terms of beef, and like not to mention the shit that Drake said about Kendrick. He did say some dirty shit about him too, like jaw dropping, where you're like, wait a minute, take it back now.
Yeah, now the Martian's mixed in it now.
Yes. So it could definitely be a battlefield for real.
What if they're both pedophiles though, and they're just like, I got you first, dog? You know what I mean? Because I feel like this whole pedophile movement is like whoever points the finger first. Like, you know, when Vitaly was catching pedophiles and shit, I'm like, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if Vitaly is a pedophile. You know what I mean? The guy's kind of fucking.
That's why he's so good at catching them.
Yeah, and it's like I'll showcase you, so it almost takes the attention away from what I possibly could be. You know what I mean?
I mean, nobody reveals their dark moon, not even to themselves. Sometimes, you know.
No, I do agree. I think Biggie and Tupac's beef is just as intense as Drake and Kendrick's is right now. You know what I mean? Because of the whole
Drake got popped at. He got popped
the whole of the lore of XXX and Drake and all that kind of being connected. I feel like some shit can happen between them now. You know what I mean? You heard it here first, possibly.
There was a shooting involved in like in a Drake event recently, bro. And then like,
dude, people really like back him, man. It's so crazy. Like,
I mean, dude, he's got power, bro. You know what I mean?
A pop star.
Yeah, when they signed him to Young Money, bro, it was game over, bro. Like I think everybody who was like actively observing that moment knew that shit was gonna happen, bro. That Drake was gonna pop off. It was just the cards were in his favor, bro, and it was clear as day, man. They dropped that Young Money album. He was the only one that fucking like blossomed on that shit. Everybody else was ass, bro. And then he was on Weezy's mixtapes following, and then he dropped. What is it? He dropped So Far Gone. He dropped what was the one that came after that? He dropped So Far Gone to some other shit, bro.
Time out. Did you call Nicki Minaj and Tyga ass, bro?
Tyga's aight.
What?
Tyga's
Post Young Money Tyga? Come on, bro.
I actually liked him.
Young Money Tyga was
I liked him better right before he got signed to Young Money. Like right before he got signed to Young Money, he was like, but he was fucking with them. That's when he was hella hard. Like right before he dropped that the lime in the coconut interested all love. Like right before he dropped that song, he was pretty hot. But then after, he just was all into that fucking stripper shit, the stripper movement shit. Just trying to get prostitutes and bitches banging on their shit and his shit. Like, you know, motherfucker was going into porno and you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
did he really?
I was not feeling that.
Yeah, he did.
Damn, what the fuck?
You didn't even know. Yeah, it was weird, bro. It got a little weird for me.
Yeah.
But Weezy, Drake, Nicki Minaj.
Isn't Drake half? Never mind.
I mean, yes and yes.
Yeah,
but anyway, half and half, right?
Half and half, yeah.
You use that in coffee.
Speaking of that, I saw this thing online that said that the Star of David was never called the Star of David. Interesting transition. What do you guys think of that? I also read that the Star of David was actually a 2D design of the Merkaba, right?
Yes.
And Chef, we spoke about previously. There you go. We spoke about previously about the 6 feet apart rule and how that might be, you know what I mean, a way to condition us from not connecting with each other because it kind of keeps our field away from each other because we do connect like that. But based on the stuff that I've watched and I've looked at, it's less of a egg-like aura and more of like a Merkaba shape aura, right? You two, Charmin and Phantom, I think you guys are really into crystals, right? Can you guys kind of go into what the Merkaba is and anything that entails that spiritually?
Yeah, definitely. So like they call it like the light vessel. So it's 2 tetrahedrons, I think they're called, but it's like basically pyramid like shape, and one's facing downwards and one's facing upwards, and they go into each other and they both spin in opposite directions. So basically when you do like astral projection and stuff like that, you can consciously spin those, and it would be considered like the vehicle that we can travel through the cosmos in our astral body and kind of like go around with. And definitely if you have like crystals, like I have a amethyst crystal that's in the shape of a Merkaba, and sometimes I use that to try to just like imagine that shape. Or, you know, crystals, geometry harnesses the ethers into those geometric shapes, and sacred geometry, like the platonic solids, they're all shapes that are like perfect geometry. So when those perfections like they basically enclose the ether and they're able to, I guess, enact certain things. But Charming works with crystals too, so she can go in a little more.
Yeah, basically what he said. But also, I'm a Googler, so I like to just look up everything. It says that it's the term Merkaba or Merkava is known as the chariot or the throne of God, so basically what he said, it represents like a vehicle that you like, that I think that I'm not sure if we all have it, but I think that we all have it, but it's like if we all can use it is the actual real question. Like not all of us know how to drive a motherfucking stick shift, so it's kind of like we have this ability to have this vehicle to transfer our spirits, but we don't always know how to use it. And so I think the point of the symbolism is to kind of like remind us. And like the Star of David is actually interesting because it kind of means the same thing. I haven't really looked too much into the Star of David. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't looked too much into it. But it says that it's the connection between God, Israel, and the Torah. And the Torah is like their Bible, right? Like the Jewish Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's basically like telling you that it's like these connections help you to like, or like create a certain connection that like move you forward, move you toward God, or move you toward higher spirit or the creator, whatever, and so that's kind of basically the gist of it. It's
if I'm not mistaken, too,
technology. It's
supposed to be connected to the toroidal fields too, if I'm not mistaken. The two triangles represents each side of the toroidal fields.
Well, you're right.
What's toroidal field?
It was
like it's basically it's like a funnel almost, right? It's like the outside of a black hole and then the inside of the black hole. Yeah, it's a toroidal field. Yeah.
But this is the toroidal field, as far as you mentioned earlier about the 6
look at the third. Look at the third photo.
This one here.
That one is like, and then just like think how the two triangles meet. You know what I mean?
They would spin.
Yeah, so it would go right.
Correct.
Yeah, that's the vertice right there. That middle point.
Yeah, they would spin directions, and it would create a suction portal that would create a donut.
Yeah,
so what I've seen that's like a magnetic field. So they've had taken magnets and put it under this thing, and you can see a toroidal field like coming off of the magnet, basically. So they say we're electromagnetic, right?
Yeah, see,
so
it's supposed
that would
they're
be
one
the
and the
magnet.
same.
Oh yeah, boom.
So the Merkaba is supposed to be like the 2D symbol that we can visualize that is supposed to symbolize the toroidal field. Yeah. And then so they're talking about space-time and shit, and you're was it astrally projecting. They're trying to do research on how to create a new faster than light travel, which is involving creating a bubble around yourself, a bubble of time, and then you moving on that bubble of time along time itself. So that bubble of time is like a snowboard. You're on the snowboard. You're not moving at all relative to the snowboard, which is your bubble of time. But the bubble of time is moving across the snow, which is the sea of time itself. And then that's supposed to be the concept that helps you move faster than light. So I mean, it all kind of sounds interconnected. And that shit looks like a shouting gun.
Damn, dude.
It's crazy. It looks like when you I just watched fucking the Digimon movie, the old one. And when they go into the digital world, there's like a net there's a green net that maps out almost the digital world, and it looks
that's like the grid they say is around us, the matrix, the grid, the firmament,
exactly.
The intranet.
Yeah.
Oh shit, the net.
We're pixels. The atoms are 3D pixels.
Oh my goodness!
It's funny that we called it the chariot and the vehicle of God, or that takes you to God, because one, that makes me think of UFOs, and two, it makes me think of angels. Right? Wasn't the Ophanin supposed to be some sort of chariot of God, and it looks like a fucking like a ton of wings with a ton of eyes.
Not only that, isn't it a tarot card too?
Is it? I don't know. I don't know much about tarot.
It is a tarot card, yeah.
Isn't tarot a fruit? No, I'm just kidding.
It's ice cream. You got Terra ice cream.
Shit's dank. Check it out. Yeah, man, it's a trip. Oh, and I talked about how we are kind of like fluid crystals, and we don't actually crystallize into crystals until we die, you know, because that's like your imprint, and whatever you imprint, whatever crystal you crystallize into, instead of, you know, calling it dying, that's kind of the dimension that you transfer into. So if you're thinking hell and you have some kind of guilty conscience that you never let go, then, you know what I mean, that's kind of what you're going to imprint to, and you're going to kind of go into that hell that you created, opposed to if you have a certain heaven in your head, that's kind of what you're going to channel, because that's what you're forming into. And it kind of goes into the tuning forks and the frequency matching type of aspect to the whole principle of it.
Yeah.
So,
and due to, like, you know, because of how the Vedics work and how karma works, you won't remain in that hell forever. Eventually you'll expel all that karma that puts you there, and then you'll rebirth somewhere else.
Interesting too. We talked about music in the beginning. It's like when you're listening to a song, it feels different than when you look at a song when you're editing it as a waveform pattern. You know what I mean? I feel like that waveform pattern is the crystallized version, but then going through life is actually kind of listening to the music. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you kind of have that crazy perspective of being able to listen to music and watching the waveform patterns when you're editing music. And I feel like that perspective opens you up to where you can kind of understand the crazier concepts of like quantum physics sometimes. You know what I mean?
That's why
there's a lot of people in music, and especially in rap, like are into spirituality now. You know what I mean? So
I don't know. It's weird how everybody kind of just suddenly got light bulbs shining over their heads the past few years. Yeah,
I agree. That to me is so wild. The fact that there was a mass amount of people that all started kind of getting it. To me,
I mean, that's the whole point of the internet. Like, you know, like people talk about the internet this way or that way, but like the fact is we are supposed to have the internet, because otherwise we wouldn't be, we are as smart as we are as like people, you know, talk about like, oh, the kids of today, they're dumb. And it's like, no, the kids of today can express themselves a lot better than we can, because they have the internet on their hands to give them ways to express themselves. So they're not dumb. They're just fucking silly. Like,
and they could see all our mistakes on display as well.
Yeah. And either way, that gives for transparency, because back in the day, people go, oh, well, my grandpa, my grandma stayed together forever, and ain't nowhere on the internet that your grandpa abused your grandma and had 3 kids on the side. But everybody believes that your grandpa was a good man because of what the stories were, and there was nothing to document it. And so the internet gives us is a tool to allow for us to like express ourselves better, but also to literally simply know more. Like we wouldn't be able to do so many things, like obviously without the internet, but also like if you guys are obviously on the internet, you guys are obviously probably on social media. Like imagine like how we wouldn't know how many people think like when you see that meme, that random meme, and you're like, what the fuck? How do they know that that's in my mind? Like, how do they know that I experienced that? You know what I mean? Like that's an interconnectedness that like the web actually created a tighter interconnectedness between us in a greater distance. So what you said something about the 6 feet of separation, like they had to implement that because we are close no matter what, you know, like we are closer to each other because we have the internet, and because we can say, I just found this article, look at this, what do you think about this? And we can exchange energy and information and expressions through each other faster, and we don't have to hold it in, and we don't have to think about like, oh, what does that person think? Well, you know, my neighbor doesn't like it, so I'm not going to say anything. Don't talk about it because the neighbor don't like it. Don't talk about it. You know, so I'm going on a
lot of trouble. It saves you a lot of trouble.
It's tough, but yeah, the internet, you know, gives us that connectedness. So, anyways,
energetic. It's like energetic symbiosis. I feel like.
Do you guys know the percentage of the world's population that actually has access to the internet?
Let's look it up.
I'm going to take a random guess. So the percentage that does not have internet, correct?
How many? 66.6. Probably some demonic shit, dude. Literally, or 33%. Some
That would
shit.
be interesting if it was. But yeah, no. Go ahead, give a wild guess.
I'm gonna say that 60%. I'll go with 60%.
Doesn't have access.
Do not have. Yeah, it does not have. I feel like it might be a lot greater than that.
No, you're actually quite accurate.
Dude, we're so close.
Yeah,
67.5% of the global population.
You were quite
so it's close to
indeed.
66.6, bro.
So more than half of the world's more than half of the world's population doesn't even have access to the internet. So all of the perks, the pros and the cons, don't even affect most of the people on this planet.
I'm going to disagree with you because if it's in the ethers, it's in the ethers.
Well, I mean, it will affect
they
people.
Had studies, don't they? Didn't they have a study on the monkeys where if one monkey over here learned how to do something, the monkey over here also did it, even though they didn't learn how to do it immediately?
Oh, you're talking about collective consciousness.
Exactly, collective consciousness. When one of us know, we have the ability to give it to the next person.
But we have yet to find the link between the internet and collective consciousness. That's the thing.
Well, I feel like
we don't have the actual scientific evidence to prove that the internet is intertwined with human consciousness and awareness and biological consciousness and awareness. We haven't gotten to that point yet. I do believe that it is, though.
I could disagree for days. I could really disagree for days. I've literally watched people do studies where they popped up pictures on the screen and they're testing if your brain could predict if something's coming up on the screen before it even comes up, and your brain can predict what the internet is going to bring to you. So I'm not, even though there may not be any scientific studies, the fact that when you think about something, it pops up on your Instagram algorithm is proof enough. Like, it is connected to our brains because our brains are computers.
Oh, no, I wasn't saying that it wasn't. I said that I believed in it. I'm just saying that there's no scientific backing that's going to help the world understand that it is fact.
I think there is.
But I do believe that. I do believe it's real, but most people are not going to, and because there's not credible evidence. You know what I mean? It's not like in your face, this is how it is. You know, like electricity. I plug this in and the fucking electrons are going through this copper wire, and that's how electricity is moving to my fucking computer. You know, like there's not like a clear-cut explanation as to how it's happening, why it's happening, and shit like that.
The thing is,
so
I feel like the internet came about after heavy research into remote viewing, right? And these psychic spies. So already there's, some way to remote view and pinpoint certain
they're like trying to compensate. They're maybe there's, you know what I mean? Like they're trying to compensate for the fact. Oops, sorry. Trying to compensate
people
for the fact that they can't do it.
Remote view and like pinpoint certain what was I gonna say? Fucking what's the term? Fucking
coordinates.
Coordinates, yes. Coordinates. I heard people can remote view things on the moon too. Whether the moon's fake and gay, like they can remote view into the moon and see aliens type shit. You know what I mean? But I feel like that set the ground that there's this collective consciousness that people can tap to, because one of the main breakthroughs they came up to, like in a conclusion to, was the fact that these people can remote view means that they can tap into a collective consciousness and peek and stare into these, spaces. So they can almost astral project into the Akashic records or whatever and view the world from like a God perspective, so to speak. You know what I mean?
The God file.
And then if you take into consideration that the internet, I heard, was created in order to share information with the workers in CERN, you know what I mean, to get projects moving faster, then that kind of brings credence that there might be science out there,
quantum physics.
To the precursor of internet that they're not really telling us.
Oh yeah, it's not mainstream.
And the internet was utilized primarily by the military, and so already it's been weaponized before it's even made public. You know what I mean? So the fact that we're
we're not aware of.
The fact that we're able to like still extract benefits with the internet means that we're so smart, we're creative, and we're adaptive to where we can kind of, hack this weaponized program and still kind of make it useful. You know what I mean? And work for us in a sense.
It is a weapon. It was first and
hell yeah, it's a weapon. Going back to what you said, didn't they give the internet to people in North Korea or like a remote tribe and they got addicted to porn in like 2 weeks?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That shit was wild, dude. They actually that's actually been happening recently. I think that actually happened to North Korea because they've been sending the soldiers to Russia, and these North Korean soldiers have never seen porn before, bro. And so I guess they're interacting with the Russians. The Russians like, hey, bro, you can watch this shit right here. So there's been a spike in porn usage for North Koreans. It's kind of weird.
The Russians set them up.
Yeah,
that was a motherfucking bait and switch.
Ooh, yeah.
They knew what they was doing.
Not only that, now they got North Korea on their thumb, bro. Like you know.
Okay.
It's kind of weird how that shit played out, but yeah, you give internet to people, they go straight to porn. That's what happens. Most studies show that actually most internet traffic, internet usage is porn.
Yeah. The cool thing about the internet, though, like Charmin was saying, was I feel like, I mean, when the internet was new when I was growing up, certain things that you went through, you felt like you were the only person going through it, right? It's funny reading the comments and seeing someone comment, "Oh, we're all just living the same lives." You know what I mean? And it's like, is this a simulation or is this a common thing that people go through in this matrix that was created for us to live in? You know what I mean? So
I think it's common because people represent archetypes, you know. So like through astrology, when you come through, all these different combinations make this type of person, and so each of these like astrological things have different energies. So we're all just expressing a different archetype, you know? So the people who do that, they're similar to our archetype. They like the same shit as us, you know?
Mm-hmm. And like everything is like a macrocosm and a microcosm. So it's like we may, like, as we go deeper into ourselves, we will find things with people who like very specific, like we may all specifically have went through something that led us here that was very similar, whether it be like how we interacted with our spiritual, like how we whatever it may be, like we may all have something very specific that we went through that like led us here. And so if you really think about like every group, you could just drop it down, like, you know, like Black people, as speaking as a Black person, we go through very similar shit. You know, mixed people, speaking as a mixed person, we go through very similar shit. Women, speaking as a woman, we go through very similar shit. A mom that doesn't vaccinate, speaking for myself, we go through very similar shit. So you could literally just break it down into who you are and you will find that person. But like I was saying, like the internet, without the internet, it would have just been much harder. Like, because now you only have your surrounding community, and you know, that's not never guaranteed. So
yeah, it's basically Prometheus is fire. The internet, that's what it is.
Yeah,
kind of suspect things
facts.
Up.
Right.
I mean, that's facts because wasn't Prometheus motherfucking sent to hell for giving humans fire? Is that what you're saying? Like Prometheus was literally sent, punished by Zeus, and I got smoke with Zeus if we ever want to talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
I think we all
I got smoke with all the Greeks. I got smoke with them all.
All the Greeks,
weird.
The Greeks are gay. They're all gay.
They're all
kind of part of the power.
They're all perverts, and they're all gay.
Yeah,
I mean,
and those two are separate things, but they're both.
Straight up, I agree.
I would say that a lot of those pagans do practice that kind of behavior.
Yes, those murals aren't wrestling, bro. You know, they're not wrestling.
Give me the image.
Yeah, I hear you, man. They're not helping each other. They're not helping each other through the forest, huh?
Yeah. I have a big problem with Greek. Like if people be like, "Oh, our deities are my deities," or "Oh, they're the same as the Greek gods," I'd be like, "No, they're not. Those are your gods." I don't do Hercules, Zeus. I don't do Pan. None of us should ever associate with Pan, but a lot of people do. You know. So, anyways.
So, what do you think? Do you think those deities are just the Greeks telling of, you know, already existing deities, like their brand of those deities, or you think those are just made up by the Greeks? Because I had heard that Zeus was a rebrand of Shango Orisha from Ifa.
See that I think is bullshit. Have we looked at what Zeus and sorry, I'm not being aggressive with you. I'm being aggressive with the people who said that. If we looked at Zeus and we looked at Shango, Shango may be aggressive, but Zeus is literally disgusting. Like he is like a disgusting thing, like deity, entity, whatever. And I do believe that, as much as people say, like, that's why I said, like, I do believe that they are their own. I believe that they may, I don't necessarily know where they came from, but I'm just going to tell you what my intuitive reading on it is that, that they, I kind of feel like they were experiments. Like they were not true, like creations. And
you're talking about the Greek deities,
the Greek, and I'm gonna say that I'm specifically talking about the men, because most of the men are garbage. And then if you look at the women are all not garbage. If you've ever looked at the women Greek deities. And so I feel like they overtook lands of certain people. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna say black people, black deities, black gods. Because if you look at, for me, from what I know, a lot of these goddesses, they do connect to like goddesses that I'm aware of. And so my whole point is that it's deep and it's really confusing, because I don't ever take anything as like surface. Like it's not what you give me is what it is. Like it's always going to be deeper than what they show. But I really, if we really look at the Greek, they are planters. The Greeks are planters. That's the word that I'm looking for. They're planters. They're not true gods. They're not, they came to literally disrupt the equilibrium that was already existing. And if you look at like some of the interactions that Zeus has had, he has banned. So I think Athena or I believe Medusa, one of them got banned to different islands. So they're getting banned off islands and shit. And to me, that kind of reads as like those islands were already preoccupied. And so when they're banning them to islands that were preoccupied, that they pretty much messed up the equilibrium of. Not only that, I don't know if you ever looked into Ichor. Ichor is it's ICHOR. It is the drink that the gods drink to make them immortal. So why would they need to drink something that makes them immortal if they're gods?
Huh. Interesting, because they're little G gods, right? Is the thing.
They're Nephilim.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Nephilim is what we'll call them.
But I would argue that some of the female ones did do some horrible shit too. Didn't one of them like try to kill Hercules continuously?
Yeah, but that's because Zeus.
He's a child, though.
That was like, Hercules was the bastard son, right?
They all did they all did horrible shit, though. You know
I mean, to O's point, that's not Hercules' fault. You know,
it isn't. That nigga was innocent as fuck.
He wasn't innocent if he did it. Like maybe
he did do. Actually, Hercules ended up doing some horrible shit too.
Oh, you're right. No. Yeah, he did. He did.
So Hercules had what's called the 12 trials, the 12 labors, something like that. And so I'm gonna let you guys in on something. My deities are animals. My deities transform to be from gods to animals. Their highest form is in animals: lions, a gorilla, a motherfucking hawk, an owl, you name it. They're animals. Mermaids. And so when I hear Hercules has a trials, 12 labors or whatever the hell, and the labors are to kill 12 different animals.
It was.
I'm a little suspicious.
But they were. It was dictated by the gods, though.
Like those 12 acts were given to him by Zeus.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So I mean,
exactly.
But it was to appease his wife, though, because his wife was trying to fucking kill him, right?
I wonder why. The wife ain't just trying to kill him for no reason.
Yeah, but two wrongs don't make it right, though.
For reasons.
But two wrongs don't make it right, though. So the mother Aeon who gave birth to Yaldabaoth, regardless, she still loved her child, even though it was a deformed birth. It was a deformed birth, but she still loved her child. And even at the end,
and Zeus didn't love none of the deformed ones.
Yeah, I think he viewed Hercules as like a bastard child.
So it doesn't matter, it's love. Love leads all. You know what I mean? And that is the rule of the world and the universe is love.
Love spelled backwards is evil. That's
that's the other side of the coin. But you know, when
speaking of backwards, we were talking about earlier dogs and how dog backwards is God, you know, and I was talking about the show Wilfred, where you know,
you're hella fun.
Have you seen that show?
You're so I love it because the beginning it was like don't take anything serious, and I'm like you are so unserious.
But I'm kind of serious. But that's my punchline. You know what I mean?
I'm with you. Tell me, I'm with you. I'm following.
So I don't know. I heard this line. It was by Mac Miller. They said, "God lives in your dog soul, the devil in his dog bowl." Right. So man's best friend is God. Is a dog, right? And there's dogs kind of lead men into, and you know, men always praise for guidance, right? So I feel like the dog is either some sort of angel or an incarnate. You know, just kind of like how Zeus became a goose. God kind of became a dog type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think Sirius is the dog star.
Yes.
So there's a connection there probably. And also in like I think it's Mexican religion.
Hold on. Is Sirius the North Star? Is Sirius the North Star too?
I don't know which one it is, but I do like there's beings that come from there, and then there's a dog that leads you through the underworld. It's an all black dog, a bald one. And he helps you travel through the underworld, and then there's another dog too. Oh, Anubis, you know, he's the god of the underworld.
Hellhound, Cerberus,
Cerberus, yeah.
There's all kinds of spiritual dogs, yeah.
Oh,
Polaris is North Star. Never mind.
Oh, here's
so cool, but Sirius.
It's funny because
is where the alien's supposed to be from.
So here's the dog.
I think the Dogon.
Oh shit! Yo, that's Beerus, yo.
And you guys,
occult DBZ, man.
Yeah.
Everybody was always trying to figure out, was that a dog or a cat? Beerus?
A cat dog.
Coco, right? Yeah. The dog from Coco.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like because what it means is there's a term called alebrijes, and it's spirit guides. They're Aztec spirit guides, and it's those dogs. And so I kind of feel like it could also represent that like dogs can guide us to God, I suppose. That's what the general the archetypal depiction of it is that God or dogs guide us to God. I can't even.
Okay, I thought
am I tripping, or do dogs have a good sense of character too? Like they
generally do,
right? There's that too.
A well-mannered dog.
A Chihuahua. I got a fucking crazy ass Chihuahua. This motherfucker hates everybody, dude.
Because you never say when you die, you're not supposed to go to the light. Like it's like that's a soul trap. So traveling back to the light. So if that dog is like a guide through the underworld, it's possible that like the dog can help guide you to not get trapped back into that reincarnation cycle and maybe guide you in your spirit to the next
dog.
Take you out of the samsara.
Yo, I had a crazy conversation with Elijah, and we talked about the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and it talked about that, bro. Like every person is going to go to the light, and it's crazy because it's told in every spiritual and religious indoctrination to go towards the light. You know, even in mainstream media and movies, go towards the light. But really, you're kind of resetting back into samsara or the trap realm or something. But that's crazy, dog. No pun intended.
That was okay. I have a random fact about dogs that's related to what we're talking about. Okay, so did you guys know that axolotl it's named after Xolotl, which is the dog, the Mexican hairless dog. And basically what they said was Xolotl was a god that could transform himself into a water dog. So axolotl means water toy, water twin, water dog, water monster is what it says on the Googles. Axolotl was Quetzalcoatl's twin brother. I read the story a long time ago, so I'm Googling it. Like I said, I do. But he was his twin brother. But from what I remember, he turned himself into an axolotl because he didn't want to sacrifice himself to like the higher gods. And so he was like, nope, I'm going to be this like little animal. And so I don't know if you guys know much about axolotls, but they literally...
It's this thing, right?
Yes, yes.
Yo, you know what? I went to Walmart and they had these branded as water dogs.
No way.
Fucking swear to God.
I'm mad
like,
that they had them at Walmart because what the fuck?
Yeah, they had these.
They were like,
they were cheap as fuck. I think they were like under $10 each.
I've been trying to get
you're
one
lying.
for a minute.
Yo, that was
my cousin used to have them.
Early 2000s.
Pretty dope. They get pretty big.
Okay,
some of
that makes sense. They're more now because from what I read, where they're at, like their habitat is in Mexico, and it's being constructed, and so humans are kind of the only ones keeping them alive at this point. But they're obviously becoming more rare and rare because a lot of humans probably own them and then probably killed them, and so now they're like hundreds of dollars rather than $10. But yeah,
what's I heard. Well, first of all, it makes me think of, hey, what's that Aztec god Quetzalcoatl, the dragon?
Quetzalcoatl.
This motherfucker looks like a dragon, dude. Like this is
That's
a dragon.
His brother. That's his brother.
Oh no way. Okay,
that's his brother.
Sense.
Literally,
these things get big as fuck, right?
They actually don't. They can get probably like this big at most. But the interesting thing about them is that like genetically, like biologically, they don't change from their baby parts don't change at all to be human. So they're kind of like immortal. I mean, immortal's not the right word. They're ageless.
Created perfectly, so they don't have to evolve. Okay.
Yes, they don't age.
Like those are their gills
they just get
on
bigger.
The outside of their neck. They don't evolve to where their gills go in. Those little things sticking outside.
Yeah, they don't change. Like a tadpole goes from a tadpole to a frog. Like they are like that forever. Like they stay at that size, and they just grow. And so I think it's interesting. My son was really, 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 really interested in axolotls for a little while, and so we looked it up, and basically. The axolotl is a Aztec god.
That's crazy. That like, I used to have like 4 of those things. So those things are part of my childhood, and I called them water dogs for a while.
That's cool. Docile little things, man.
That's interesting.
They were like, nobody's gonna be able to pronounce axolotl. Let's just call it water.
Yeah, right. Like we're not gonna sell no axolotl.
Wasn't
but see,
there was an end cap shelf. There was an end cap shelf too. I'm just kidding.
that proves to you that the internet has made us smarter, because children at the age of 5 was saying axolotl, calling it by its scientific name. You know what I mean? And that was because it was in fucking Roblox, and it was
Minecraft.
On every TV show. Oh, Minecraft. See, I don't.
That's a skin from Fortnite too. I bought that shit.
Oh, see, there we go. There you go. So that for a little while they were just everywhere, and I feel like that's beautiful. Like for something
I think that's the counter
scientific.
Though.
What?
I think the counter to that is the fact that, oh shit, they know what an axolotl is. Let's make it the character from Fortnite and just make, Disney-fy the Hercules story, if you will.
Fair.
You know what I mean?
Fair. There's always like a tip over. There's always like on the other side of it.
It's like, oh, they're aware of this now, implement, countermeasure, whatever.
Well, they're aware of this, capitalize on it.
Yeah, there's that too. Right.
They really get you.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, we were talking about dogs before the podcast, before you guys came on too, and we were talking about how was it the Muslims?
Man, you ask a lot of questions. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, no, we was talking about how the Muslims.
That's fucking funny, bro.
The Muslims.
That's fucking funny, dog.
Yeah, man. They the Muslims don't like dogs, basically, right? That's what I've learned. I mean. Somebody could fact check it on me if you want, but they use that as an insult. You know what I mean? Like they call you a dirty dog or something like that, right? And we were talking about how, essentially the Persian Empire was at war with most empires back then, most Gentile empires, such as the Roman Empire. I'm sure, they come across the Roman Empire, and I'm sure they fought the Spartan Empire, like what was depicted in the movies. Probably not exactly, but. With that being said, you have the legend of Romulus and Remus, right? Who founded Roma, and they were raised by like a mother wolf. So, and then you have all those other Gentile tribes that coexisted with dogs, but were called basically like lesser humans, right? By the more civilized, civilizations like the Arabian civilization and other places. But yeah, man, it's interesting how like basically the lesser people grew up with the canines, right? And like we still have them, you know what I mean? But it's used as an insult.
I think that's like a great example of spiritual warfare, right?
Yeah,
they're trying to hijack the God and trying to make him lesser than what it is.
It could be that, yeah. Just they could just be insulting our coexistence with the canines, you know, like, you know, they just look at us like we're nasty humans, nasty cavemen with these giant rat things, you know, that eat anything. That could be seen as like kind of unhygienic, especially back in the day when, you know, you're just a villager and you have these nomadic people with their dirty dogs coming in. So it's pretty interesting, bro. Yeah.
You know what though? I'll tell you who hates dogs and who would have that perspective of dogs. People that dogs don't like. Fuck that dog, you know, that dog tried to bite me, you know, and make a whole religion against dogs and shit.
I mean, yeah, sour as fuck. They just mad because they wasn't cool with the wolves. They looking at the gangsters. We cool with the wolves and shit. They mad.
Yeah, that's funny. It is pretty crazy though, because like how the common dog now and how, you know what I mean, far away they are from the original wolf is, I don't know. It's almost like we hijack and we just fucking did an experiment on a god. You know what I mean? Because it also makes me think of the natives and the skinwalkers, right? Skinwalkers would naturally take the shape of a wolf, right? I feel like
actually, research shows that the dogs learn more about us than us learning about them. Like they understand our languages and our commands and shit. They learn various languages. You could teach a dog Spanish commands. You could teach a dog Chinese, Japanese commands, Filipino, Tagalog commands. You could speak to them in multiple languages, and they'll more or less get it after a few tries. And the way that they've adapted, you know, they were at first they were just wild canines that would sit outside of our settlements, getting scraps and getting whatever they could from whatever resources we could gather, right? And then it got to a point where they understood if they actually cooperated with us, we would let them into our settlements. And that's how our coexistence came to be, right? I mean, that in theory. So the dogs are smarter than us, bro. The dogs learned how to be with us. And we're just the convenient ones, or we're just in a convenient position to have them. That's my point of view.
All right.
How
do the cats fit in all this?
Well, before we move to the cats, the dogs and cats have even their genetics have morphed. Their DNA has morphed to where they're automatically cute to our eyes and endearing to us as humans. No, that is in their DNA.
It's the same as babies.
Yeah. So like
same as babies.
They've one up us, bro. Like for real. they are living in our homes rent free.
Well, they're not like
free. Fucking everything.
And
you're not
in
watching
the homes
TV,
and in the head,
listening to the radios, eating bullshit. They are. Some of them are eating bullshit.
Wait, what? Cats?
Dogs and cats.
I was gonna say, y'all.
I feel like
I caught my dog on the table the other day.
Don't eat bullshit.
Eating crumbs on the damn table.
Yeah, I don't know what some pet owners' diet regimen is for their pets, but I feel like not all dogs eat equally. You know what I mean? And that's not saying that you're feeding your dog bullshit. I think people that are feeding their dog pedigree and all that shit probably don't know much about it, and that's kind of what they're just doing. You know what I mean? But yeah, just kind of the same condition of like, you know, a regular human who's drinking tap water, who's eating McDonald's type shit. You're probably not vibrating at a higher frequency than a fucking dog is or a cat. You know what I mean? To where their attention span is probably more locked in than, you know what I mean, the fluoride owner that owns a bunch of cats or owns a bunch of dogs. So yeah, over time that animal is going to learn, dude, I walk this dude, you know what I mean? This dude don't walk me type shit, you know?
He picks my shit up.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's why you can kind of identify animals that have been abused, because they don't have that same energy. They have the opposite energy, where, because most animals, no matter what, like they're like, they have the attitude like, I run this. Like I have a dog, I have a couple cats, and let's be honest, most dogs, like, they're gonna bark until you tell them shut up. They're going to do what they want to do until you tell them not to. And so they still like inherently have this like I run this attitude until they're like reminded, like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how you know, like, when animals have been abused, because they don't have that at all, and they've been taken completely out of their natural ways of like being, whether it be like in a pack, whether it be, you know, whatever it is. So, anyways,
that's true.
So what do you guys think about like animals coming from extraterrestrial races? So there's like a race called the Lyrans, and they're all like lions, tigers, hybrid type. And then they say there's dolphin like beings, aquatic like extraterrestrials, and I mean freaking octopuses. So like what if they're like a step down in consciousness, you know, of these different things? And shit, maybe they can spark up that extra consciousness, because I've heard things of people saying like when their cat died, it came to them in a dream, but it was in a human form, and it like I leveled up my consciousness. So think about just an animal interacting with a human and literally evolving its consciousness, because in the wild, they're in packs, they don't necessarily create a sense of I, you know, in a pack. But once you become a pet, and now we name you, and now you know you're a thing now, and you have your own individuality, it's almost like an evolution in their consciousness, you know?
I mean, like, think about, they can learn different languages. Like, there could be a Spanish-speaking dog.
Yeah. No, there
you know
is.
I mean?
There are.
Which is, if you think about it, I mean, yeah, they're
You give them buttons. You give them buttons. They call their owners bitches and shit. The owner doesn't give them food.
I was gonna bring that up eventually, because I got a bone to pick with that. I was gonna bring that up. I didn't bring it up yet, but I was gonna say, y'all know the dog Bunny?
Nah, Bunny.
Because that's the dog's name. There's that machine that you're talking about where they allow for the animals to like know. But I've seen where the dog is like asking for its dad, and the dad is like, it's like owner human. Then the dog asks like, why doesn't it live with other dogs? And it's like asking the human like, why don't I live with people that look like me, or live with, you know, other like it's shorthand, because it's general button, so it's shorthand. But like the dog's asking for its fucking depressants. Like the dog's going sad. The mom's going, oh, you want your depressants, Bunny? And I kind of feel like we're actually doing a disservice to animals when we do that, because as much as we're like, oh, they can talk, dogs were telepathic. We didn't need to give them words. They were telepathic. Now we give them words, and now it seems like they're understanding. Now they have to understand things that they really weren't meant to understand. Like,
I agree.
The dog wasn't meant to understand why it doesn't live with other dogs, because now we got to tell it about its being in a wolf pack. Now we got to tell about, oh, you were domesticated, and we got to tell about, oh, well, you're not even your natural self that you used to be hundreds of years ago. Now the dog's like, well, what the fuck am I doing here? What's going on? And now we're creating existential fucking crises for animals.
Sounds like us right now.
No, you're right.
Humans are already having it.
Yeah, well, yeah. Sounds like us right now.
That experience. So we are not supposed to pass that on to dogs by giving them English language words, and words that they may not have actually. Yeah, dogs can be sad, but dogs are not like, boo-hoo, I'm sad. Boo-hoo, I'm sad. I'm sad. I want to kill myself. I'm sad. Dogs are they're just that. They're just sad, you know? And then instinctually, naturally, you know, animalistically, they move on, and they're that in their, you know, the next emotion. But now we're telling them they're sad and they need medication for it. We're taking them a step back. Like, we're taking them backwards, because they have the ability to be like, oh shit, a squirrel? Okay, I'm happy again. Oh, a bone? I'm happy again. Now they're like, oh, I need my pills. Like,
who's giving their dogs fucking psych meds?
It's real.
What the fuck?
I seen it.
Oh my god!
That person needs to they need to call Peter on that motherfucker, bro. Like,
they need to call Peter on them, and they need to take them the little word machine away from the dog, and teach the dog how to bark again.
That motherfucker needs to go to the psych ward. That motherfucker should be taking the psych meds. What the fuck? And
like, I'll be honest, like, it's kind of amazing that a dog could do that, but like, for me, it's giving God complex. And like, I feel like
to us, right?
Only certain things we should have God complex about. And it's not your animal. Our animals are more, like, we're literally discussing how our animals are more intelligent in a certain way than we are. So why are we like God complexing them? It's like, oh, let's give them words to speak because we feel like they need to be able to speak words. No, you're lazy. Get your telepathic ability up and learn what your dog is saying to you when they look at you like that. Like, I don't know. I haven't been.
And plus,
I judge it.
You can tell a lot by how a dog purrs, not purrs, but like, you know,
how's the dog
based on their like groans and certain, you know what I mean, sounds that they make. It could be a sad sound, but you know, depending on how it's being enunciated, like it's a deeper sad, or it's just he'll be all right. You know, he probably just wants to go on a walk type shit. But it's funny because I've always been thinking lately. I've been thinking about this concept of. I feel like English dumbs down a lot of shit, right? And I feel like the reasons
the stupidest language
we can't recall. Yeah. Shout out to Mel. We've been going back and forth about how English is a shit language. First of all, like Hebrew and Arab language, you go right to left, right? So already words or spells, we're going left to right. You know what I mean? And
even in Japanese and hiragana,
right? So the thing is like I feel like the reason it's hard to recall dreams, the reason it's hard to recall, you know, psychedelic experiences is because you're trying to package this abstract experience into English, right? And English is a limited.
It's like trying to remember something in reverse.
Yeah, right. Like, it's funny because a lot of people, when they can't find the words to explain the trip that they had, they say, "It's a trip, bro. It's fucking crazy." You know what I mean? Like that sounds crazy to you, but to somebody who's that might sound crazy and like a druggy thing to say to someone who's never done it, but to someone who's done it, the way they say that was fucking crazy, you know what I mean? They can kind of gauge like, oh, this guy had a crazy trip, or this guy barely, you know what I mean, got there type shit. So I feel like English limits your expression of what you're really trying to say because you're pulling from, you know what I mean, non-English concepts and non-English entities, if you will, you know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like having a dog speak English not only like retards the dog in a sense, you know what I mean, but also it reminds me of the John Lilly experiment when he tried to give dolphins LSD to try to teach them how to speak English, right? Instead of learning the clicks and the sounds that the dolphins made, he tried to teach them English, which is kind of backwards, right? So I feel like that's where the God complex thing comes in our side. But Phantom, you said something about the cats and death. That's interesting because it's a common story that cats, like in retirement homes or nursing homes, cats will lay on people that are like about to die. You know what I mean? Like they almost have a sixth sense in knowing that this person only has limited amount of time. So I'm going to go
here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Whether it's a primal, you know what I mean? The cats don't even know that they're doing people a duty of letting them know that this person's going to die because of a primal, you know what I mean? Instinctual trigger. We might be putting the meaning into that, but still, like, it could also be a spiritual layer where they're almost, you know what I mean, comforting the person or transitioning them into the next life. Because what Phantom said about the person having that experience of a cat in a human, you know what I mean, hybrid form, guiding them in the spiritual world, that almost seems like a messenger or a guide, you know what I mean, opposed to I'm about to just eat you type shit.
I mean, they do eat, they have been recorded to eat the dead bodies of their owners that they're locked up with. Dogs don't do that.
No,
dogs will lay with your dead body. The cats will eat your ass. So I'm just saying.
True, but the question of do cats affect consciousness? I feel like objectively they do, because we talked about toxoplasmosis, right? The fucking bacteria in cat pits.
That makes people like them and shit.
Well, yeah,
parasite.
Yeah, it's a parasite that makes rats horny when they smell cat piss. So they're, instead of straying away from cat piss because they know that the cat is nearby, they go towards it because they think you're gonna fuck. And then a cat's over there pouncing on them, you know what I mean? But who's to say that there's no effect on humans, right? There was this theory that said that it affects humans so much that cats run that shit. You know, if you own a cat, the cat really owns you. And they said that the internet was created to worship cats. And like ancient Egypt, they worship cats. And why I say the internet was created because they worship cats is because of the boom of cat videos. The cat videos and cat memes are a thing, you know what I mean?
I mean, they show it on the movies. Wreck-It Ralph. The second Wreck-It Ralph.
What about them weird ass AI videos? Them weird ass AI videos that's showing like the cat's whole story. Like it's like the cat's in clothes and like he's going to work and shit, having kids, and then the dad passes away, and then the sad kid cat grows up and becomes a businessman and shit. Weird ass AIs.
I did a past life reading on our cat.
You're a cat?
It was my first past life reading I ever did, and it was on our cat. His name is Sage, and when we got him, his name was Sage, and it lasted 2 hours, and he was there the whole time, walking on the table. I had 2 decks that I used, or maybe I only used 1 deck that time. I use 2 decks now, but I had 1 deck or 1 or 2 that I used, and I had this big square, like one of the kitty, like Mickey Mouse tables that you just fold out, and it was the whole table was sprayed with just hella cards. And the reason why I did the past life reading on him is because his name was Sage, and you know, he has this kind of like demeanor, you know, he has a very interesting demeanor like all cats do, but you know, we would be like King Sage, and we would call him King Sage because he would stand there and he would stare at us, and we would be like King Sage, and we'd be like, oh, you're a king, huh? And then when we would say that, his tail would like wave in like a very specific way, like he's reacting to exactly what we're saying, like calling him king, you know. And so when I did the past life reading, long story short, because like I said, it was literally 2 hours. He was a knight that had parents that were high priestess, high in magic, and there was a war, and his mom got killed by the other side. And his dad was more like Buddhist type. So his dad, like not literal Buddhist, but like Buddhist type. So like more like we're keeping it peaceful, son. We're going to keep it here. We're not going to retaliate. And his mom was the high priestess, and they killed his mom. And instead of retaliating, or instead of listening to his dad, he retaliated. And so he went and he got revenge. And then he ended up meeting somebody. Wow, I have not thought about this in a long time. It's been like 2 years, I'm gonna be honest. So it's kind of funny that I'm just spitting this out right now. And so so after all that happened, he ends up getting captured. I believe that happened first. He either meets somebody and then gets captured, or gets captured and then meets somebody. I'm not really sure. I don't remember. But what ends up happening is that person was actually tricking him. And what they did was, because he did what he did, and he was the son of this high priest and this powerful, you know, magical person, they took his power and put him in a cat body.
Damn, that's like a common story in witchcraft too. Isn't Sabrina the Teenage Witch about a person trapped in a cat?
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
exactly.
Now that I have this new storyboard for my next comic book, I'm gonna need you to sign this NDA. Thank you very much.
You say that again?
We can talk.
I could do some royalties on that.
We'll talk.
Yo, that's crazy.
But yeah, so
going back to the Egyptians, they worship deities that were, you know what I mean, half human, half animals. So
alligators.
There is something to
eagles,
animals. But so hold on. What's up with the 9 lives thing? Do you know anything about the 9 lives of the cats? Was that one of his lives?
That's actually funny, because I actually never thought about that. But like, I guess maybe it was. But that's the thing, is he was a human during that time. So I don't know if that counts as one of his 9 cat lives.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't know. Maybe it's a tally marker for how many times you get to fuck up before you got to go back to being a human. I don't know.
If you're human, it's YOLO, bruh.
Yo, hold up. Time out. One thing we've always discussed about cats, and it's relevant right now, is cat eyes. They look like lizard, bro. They look like lizard eyes, right?
I love it. They're not supposed the same as hybrids with reptiles, cat-like beings, and something else too.
That's fucking weird, bro. Because they're apparently from lions and tigers, right? But lions and tigers don't have this eyes.
They don't. Also, lions and tigers actually like water, whereas like domesticated cats don't really like water. So that's
also cats hiss like snakes too, and lions they roar. They
roar. Oh shit!
And snakes.
That's crazy. Actually,
that is fucking crazy.
And I don't know how often
cats actually don't even meow unless they're trying to get their moms. But when they're out in the wild, they phase that habit out. They relearn it when they interact with humans. Actually,
yep.
Yo, that's just some cute shit they learned in order to get us going.
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like,
what
you know what I mean?
they don't do that naturally.
It's also, I do know that it's about the cat's personality too, because not all cats will meow. I have a tuxedo cat. Sage is a tuxedo cat, and he is extremely vocal. We will go, I mean, when I tell you, we will go back and forth for a couple minutes, and I will be talking to him and he'll be meowing back, and I'll talk to him, and like, it's actually insane because he is saying whatever he needs to say to me. And he's very vocal, but I did see that like not all cats are as vocal. Like not every cat is vocal, like in that manner. So
it's the cats that eat you after that aren't vocal.
No, okay. So I wanted to say that I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious that he said that because we have a cat named Silver, right? And she was so long story short, we had a couple, like 3 cat siblings show up at our backyard. I got kids, so they was like, oh. So we started taking care of them. One of them ended up having babies, and she had 5 kittens, and we took care of all of the kittens, and we still have 3. So one of them is named Silver. She's the youngest one. She's a runt. She was the runt. Like, I mean, like she was literally like this big. Her fur was like this weird texture. Her eyes she was literally so tiny, and now she's like the most craziest cat I've ever seen. Like she's silver. She has a very fluffy tail, like I call her a raccoon tail because it's like most cats have like a long sleek tail, and she has a very fluffy tail. But she
like a duster tail almost.
Yeah, literally it's
tail.
super fluffy, and it's like she almost looks like a snow cat. And so I thought that was interesting. So tangent, how do cats have different babies of different species of cats? Because cats are categorized species by the way they look. So that's another question for you, is how do cats have different basically species of cats?
Yeah, so out of the 5 babies, 2 look the same, and there was like other ones where we could see they're literally a different breed of cat because we could see the dads. There's like 2 different dads that we could see that are the dads of the cats. And so it's like how you have babies from different dads all at one time, which is crazy.
So we had a tabby cat.
Oh yeah, they're supposed to. Don't they have the ability to hold different sperms too?
Well, I know they can have more than one dad, but I don't know how long. Yeah. And she was young, so I don't know if she was holding sperm from before. I don't think that's the case. I know it's 2 dads. She's a tabby cat. She's like brown and gray. She had a all black cat. She had 2 tuxedos. She had a silver cat, and she had
one that was like her,
and then one that matched her. So that's another thing that I like to talk about because like I said, when you look at cats, like their personality comes from the way they look. So like orange tabby cats are known to be like very crazy, very just like they're the ones that are like they will do anything. Like there's no stopping them. And then you have tuxedo and black cats, yada yada yada. So that's a question for you. But the other thing I was gonna say was Silver always like bites my nose and bites my lips and bites my ears, and I always say she's gonna be the cat that eats me when I die. So I think it's hilarious that he says that because I always say she will be the cat that eats my body if I were to randomly die.
I mean, it is fact.
What's scary is they're so smart. They could play like they're your best friend, and as soon as you die, they're like,
"Oh, she's going for it," and I love her.
Yeah.
I know she's gonna get my lips first.
Yo, I'm trying to find this TikTok right now because I heard about this like cat, like secret cat society where like stray cats just kind of pop up. Right? Did you guys hear about that?
Have you guys seen the one where the guy puts the camera on his cat's neck and he just watches his camera just run through the neighborhood with smoke with other cats?
The cat boxing everybody.
That's just crazy.
It's literally, it's comedy. Like, please make a movie out of it. Honestly.
Somebody need to put some dialogue on that shit.
Honestly, that would be hilarious.
The cat be running fades, like for real, bro.
It does, and it doesn't stop. It chases them the whole way. It don't be like, oh, I got you out of here. Yeah, don't come back. It's like, no, if you come back, you don't need to come back because I'm going to chase you out the neighborhood.
Should you go to the Philippines? If you go to the Philippines, there's like gangs of them.
I believe that.
Cat gangs.
The cat distribution system, CDS, is a popular meme that refers to the idea that the universe gives cats to people who are worthy of them. So that's where all these stray cats come about. You know what I mean?
That makes me feel good. That makes me feel good because we have 4 cats.
So what's kind of crazy, like kind of spiritual like that? So her friend had passed away, right? And we went to the dang the service, and the service was on the girl's birthday, and the cats were born that night. Like, literally that night that we came home from the service.
I have a deeper lore. I can go back.
shit.
I can go back before that. So she was my best friend. She would come over the house. And remember, I told you we had the 3 cats. They were siblings. They all came here together. And the sister had the cat. One of them. Okay, so there's 3 of them. One of them died. He died like very soon, right after we got him. But before he died, my friend wanted him. My friend was like, Juniper, I really want Juniper. That was my kid's name to him. I really want Juniper. And we were like, okay, like, you know, whatever we got to do, we'll make it work. We didn't talk about it too much. Then my friend died. That same friend died probably a month later. And then the cats to Juniper's. So Juniper, Venus is the sister to Juniper. She's the one that's the mom. Her babies were born on my friend's birthday who passed. So while my friend wanted the cat passed, but the cat's sister had babies on her birthday. It's like magic.
It's like a transfer. Yeah. Exactly. I don't know. There's this movie I saw at a bookmark about it, but they make it a horror concept, right? Instead of, you know, something cool like a reincarnation type of idea instead of a horror movie kind of concept. But I feel like it plays on the same philosophy.
Yeah. I love it. It's very cool.
Crazy. I do think cats and dogs are guides. You know what I mean? So if you do come back in this matrix as a cat or dog, I mean, I hope you. I've seen some shitty cat and dog owners. You know what I mean? So that's kind of a double edged sword.
Shit, I actually imagined a future death where I'm just laying there and I'm just being cuddled by all my dogs, and I'm like,
oh shit,
dang.
I'm on the beach with my dogs underneath the palm trees and shit. Like, this is the way to go.
You're dying on the beach.
You know what I'm saying?
I just need to be able to see it.
Quite a beautiful death, huh?
Okay, I'll accept it. I'm like, wait, but how did you start dying on the beach? But
peaceful death. If you're gonna imagine your death, at least imagine a peaceful one, huh?
Nah, like Valhalla, bro. It's got to be a worthy death.
That's. Oh, I mean, you could have went out with a bang and then ended up on the beach. I mean, shit.
Even if it's like I'm trying to hold in a shit, it's still a worthy fight. You know what I mean?
Is that a worthy way to go on the toilet? Yeah, that happens.
That's how Elvis died.
It actually happens to people. So I'm just.
I'm gonna actually go to Folkvanger with Freya. I'm not going to Valhalla. So.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah,
that's
the other one.
Yeah,
that's right by Freya. Half of the people go to Valhalla. The other half go to Folkvanger with Freya, and I like Freya, so I go.
So Valhalla, is it like
we get drunk and we drink meat and eat fucking all kinds of food until we.
But yeah, I mean,
what's over at
Valhalla when you die from war?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I thought Valhalla would be more of like
a warrior's death.
Like you spar with people because you're so obsessed with fighting type shit. You know what I mean? But I guess it's more of the peace before the war or the peace after the war type shit.
It makes sense.
You're supposed to train until Ragnarok.
Yeah, I thought some Dragon Ball Z shit where there's like an odd world type of tournament that you sign up for.
Other world tournament. That sounds fun, bro. But
that would be cool.
Till Majin Buu pop up.
So what happens in the Freya afterlife? Like, is it party?
It's actually, it says that it's a people field or army field. So I guess that I'd be going right back to war.
Oh shit! It's literally the opposite of it.
But also, I don't know if you guys know where you'd be going because it says half of those that die in combat go upon death to Valhalla, and the other half go to Folkvanger with Freya. So I don't know.
That depends if you fight a little bitch. You know what I mean? If you don't die a worthy death, you probably go back and like, yo, you got to fight again, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Motherfucker accidentally got squashed.
That don't count.
Got squashed by some armory before they fucking went into the battlefield and shit.
Fucking shit blew up in that like friendly fire.
Friendly fucking nigga stepped out of the wagon and fucking tripped, busted your head. Fucking weak, man. Yeah, you definitely you go into Freya for that.
So, do you interpret dreams too?
I probably could, but I'd probably just do it with my tarot cards. I mean, I definitely could because, you know, dreams is symbolism. I really do feel like dreams are hard to interpret. As a reader, I can interpret your dreams because I can read deeper past your dreams than just what you tell me. But like, I'm not a big fan of like, oh, I'm going to go in and go on Google and I'm going to go read the dream interpretation book because not every symbol, like we have the general symbols, you know, like the sun is like the general symbol for most of us. The moon has the same symbolism for our conscious. Like there's general symbols that our subconscious all kind of know on the baseline, but there's so many other symbols out there that mean different things to us that like if I were to see a motherfucking wow, I look at it and I don't know what the goddamn thing is called. Sorry, y'all gotta tell me what it's called because I forgot. What is this thing called?
Hourglass.
Hourglass. Yeah.
See? He remembered. So an hourglass in the dream might mean one thing for you, but it might mean something completely different for another person.
Mm-hmm.
So
I see.
I could definitely interpret dreams because I'm also a reader. So I could read what the hourglass would mean for you. Whereas a person who just kind of goes based off of like the straight definitions wouldn't necessarily be able to give you a deeper interpretation, in my opinion.
I had this crazy dream where I woke up and I went to the guest room of the place I was staying at, and there was a fucking silverback gorilla, dude. Like, just on the verge of losing his shit. And I'm like, oh shit. So I closed the door and I told my family, and I like try to corral my dogs into a certain room and try to, you know what I mean, close certain doors and open certain doors to get the motherfucker out. And I always wondered what symbolism that entails. Are there any gorilla or silverback?
Mighty Joe.
I think it's
Mighty Joe.
I think it's so funny that you brought that up to me specifically. Because remember I told you that my deities are
animals.
Yeah. So we have a deity that is a silverback gorilla, and his name is Yosef. And
my middle name is Joseph. So what the fuck?
You're fucking lying.
Yeah, bro. That's your dude.
And J is Y, right? So it is Joseph.
Yeah.
Joseph, yes.
Yeah.
And he is the protector. He protects us. And
he's like the warrior.
I was going to say, it's kind of funny that you say like he was on the verge of like losing his shit, because Yosef would be the thing that holds you together so you don't lose your shit. So I'm curious, what is it that Yosef is stopping from you, like avoiding, making you avoid so that you don't, like, what is Yosef protecting you from is what it really looks like. Like protecting you from approaching something that might make you lose your shit. So he's losing his shit on behalf of you.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, it's crazy that your middle name is Joseph.
It's funny because he appeared in a room. So maybe I'm trying to contain Yosef instead of being out where he naturally is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what? I had that dream when I stopped smoking weed. And, you know, when you stop smoking weed, you have some crazy psychedelic experience like dreams, you know? That was funny. One I never forgot. So
I was going to mention on that because I went through this phase where I like literally stopped smoking and drinking because I was trying to like tap into the dream world. So I was like every night, like it's crazy because you start having dreams like every single night, you know? And then
dude,
like I would just
it's
write.
Scary too, bro, right?
It's intense. And then I would just start to like write down first thing when I wake up, just write it down. And then like, it's crazy. It started to like make a story. Like if I go back and like, it's like one kind of like a big story. Cause you don't really think your dreams connect, you know, when you just kind of remember them. Like
they do.
But it's kind of weird. Yeah. Like when you fucking really write them every single night, you're like, okay, there's kind of like a theme going. Okay. It's like building up. So that was pretty trippy for me. But I have noticed that when I don't smoke, I can get access to dream world a little bit.
Even the dreams are becoming conceptual themselves, like consecutive dreams. Like, so in regards to what you're saying about kind of like things appearing the same in each dream. So I would have falling dreams as a child. And then those falling dreams slowly turned into water dreams where I'm falling into bodies of water. And then after several years, those falling into bodies of water dreams started turning into levitation dreams. And of course, the people, the NPCs in my dreams, they're not paying attention to me flying. And I'm like trying to tell them, hey, I'm fucking flying. Nobody cares, right? And then it stopped being levitation dreams to full on flight. And then from full on flight, it became, lucid dreams where I'm actually controlling the flight and I know I'm dreaming. And I wake up like a few seconds like after I figure out that I am dreaming. It's pretty fucking weird that this shit's happening. You know what I mean? Those every time I'm in those dreams, I'm seeing neighborhoods and forest landscapes and shit like that. And then so now when I have casual dreams where I'm not flying and it's just like a normal like drive through the fucking forest, I'm like, oh, I remember this place. You know what I mean? And as soon as I remember the land that I've been here before, I fucking wake up. So yeah, man, recurring themes in those dreams. That shit. I mean, at least
I heard how you fly in your dreams is how you elevate in this world. So whether you're running, and you take off, or you're constantly flapping, or you just jump and have
this shit is like uncontrolled. It's like fucking like a propulsion that you cannot detect. My eyes is like literally just fucking like Peter Pan in this bitch.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking. I swear to God, dude, like I'll be having lucid dreams where I'm controlling that shit. And it really started burning up when me and my friend, we were trying to meet each other in lucid dreams because we were studying a lot of lucid dreams. We're like, oh, let's try to fucking meet each other, bro. So like we try to have certain totems, like idealistic totems, right, to kind of like anchor us to the same area in our minds, I guess. You know what I mean? So basically, same frequency.
Sounds gay.
Yeah, it was pretty gay. It didn't work. It didn't work either.
You guys are getting real close.
Yeah, a little too close.
That's some inception.
Do you
shout out to my homie.
Do you feel like that's like training for like a time that may be in the physical?
Training in the time physical and like for what?
Like I'm saying, doing that in the dream world, do you think it is like training in a simulation for a time when you will be able to do that in the physical world? Not in a dream.
Oh no! I honestly think what it did was it just created a vortice of willpower that I can draw from, because in those dreams I would have recurring like old people coming in and out of the dreams, and I would be trying to like older people, like the younger NPCs would never even like pay attention to me flying, but it was always like the older NPCs that would like challenge me. They'd be like, oh, fly higher or fly further, you know, shit. Like I'm like, what the fuck? Like y'all should just be surprised I'm flying, you know what I mean? But they would always, these elders, it's like that's basically what they were, elders in my dreams that would challenge me to fly further distances, which was pretty fucking weird. Yeah. So
dreams are so
yeah, they got, it's a different gateway, you know. I've always had the belief that it's just, you're just remote viewing. You're just seeing a string, another incarnation of you, and you can pull from that string whatever energetic frequencies you want to pull from. You know, if you want to pull some depressing shit, that's your choice. But I try to choose some heart lifting stuff. You know,
I've only had 2 sets of reoccurring dreams in my life that I can remember, and one was related to dinosaurs. When I was in college, dinosaurs, I would like be doing stuff in my dream, and then all of a sudden, like mind you, I'm a big Jurassic Park fan.
I was gonna say, yeah,
the fucking water, like the fucking table will start fucking banging, and I'm like looking, and I'm like, wait, what's going on? Next thing you know, there's a damn T-Rex in the damn city. And I'm like, oh my God. And I've had probably, I want to say like 5 or 6 of them, but like on some of them, the T-Rex would be far. And on a lot of them, the T-Rex is like at my door, like putting his fucking mouth in my door. So I'm like and you know, your dreams don't seem like they're not you until you're like awake and you're like, oh, okay, it was just a dream. Yeah. So imagine like you're in a dream and you like have a T-Rex like trying to like eat you through the door.
Well, the T-Rex is basically a T-Rex is basically a chicken. So go ahead and look up the symbology of a chicken.
Oh, I seen that, but I mean, in the dream, it's a T-Rex. So my constant knows it's a T-Rex, and so I thought that was funny because like I didn't actually really realize what it was until like I left college, and I realized like I'm in college, like it's fucking constant doom. It's constant, you know, something else is around the corner. There's something I got to do around the corner. There's something that's going to come and get me always, you know, because you have class, you got papers, you got tests, you got this and that and blah, blah, blah. And so I realized like that was just like the pressure of college, like personifying itself to something that would like allow for me to like feel that feeling of that pressure, you know, because me, like, I'm not the most Like I'm emotional, but I'm a triggered emotional. Like otherwise I'm very like stoic. But like music, I'm like, oh my God. Disney movies, I'm like, me and my kids be turning around, they be like, you crying, huh? I'd be like, mind your business. Mind your business. So I think that like that type of dream was like just something that like allowed for me to like personify and like come face to face with that emotion that I was feeling. And then the other constant dreams that I have is I'm a crash out. In my dreams, I'm a crash out. Like I literally crash and go over hills, and like I'll be on the freeway and I'll like go off the fucking side and I'll like jump over something on the freeway. Like I'm a crash out in my dreams. Those are my two constant repeating dreams. And I haven't had the dinosaur dreams in a while, but I do have different versions of the car dream. So whether it be like me like seeing a bus go on this really steep hill and I'm like, that's gonna fall. Like I'm looking at the bus like, oh my God, they're in danger. That is going to crash if that bus driver turns. And then other times I'm the one driving, you know?
Yeah,
and
I have the one driving one, yeah.
It's cool.
Yo,
I
it's
feel
crazy.
like dreams are cool to like see like, you know, the what your mind is like creating for you to like really be able to like come face to face and like understand some things that are going on in you that like we're all computers, and like if you really look at yourself, like we hide so many parts of ourselves, and we also project parts of ourselves extremely in a way where we don't realize we're projecting. Like even like being stoic is a projection. Like being straight faced is a projection, you know? Like being straight faced is a similar or is an equally strong projection as being like, you know, being goofy, being loud, being, you know, and, you know, being obnoxious or whatnot, you know? And so like, I feel like dreams are so cool because they like give you, and I don't think all dreams are for the same purpose. I really don't believe this happens for the same purpose at all, you know, but it's just cool to see, you know, what your mind is thinking of, like, and you know, what your brain can actually create when you're not stopping it from creating things, you know?
Yeah,
I think the best movies in the dreams, man.
Yeah,
Right.
it's tailored for you, right? So like that same dream to someone else probably won't hit all the fucking, you know what I mean, points that it would if it was given to you. But
facts.
It's crazy that we don't put any scientific or mental health, you know what I mean, studies behind dreaming, right?
There has to be a reason. There has to be a reason.
Well, they got universities that study it.
Dude,
it's called
like if you were a therapist or a psychiatrist, like I could just be like, let me get a download of your dreams to get a diagnosis of what, you know what I mean, you're really dealing with, and I'll talk to you and get to know your conscious side.
And that's the thing.
Let me learn your subconscious first.
They don't study dreams enough to even know, did you have dreams tonight? Okay, you didn't. Are you sure? So you just didn't remember them, or you didn't have them? Like there's nothing for us to even like differentiate the differences of the meanings of whether you didn't have them or you just don't remember them, or if you only remember a small part of them, or you know, what does it mean for your mind, and what's your mind going through when you can fully see them, or if you can't see them, or if you only, you know what I mean? So
it's so subjective though. It's so subjective too that that the what is it? How modern science, they don't want to touch it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because it's so subjective. Yeah,
but that's the problem.
It's subjective. Like the how is subjective, but the results are pretty objective, right?
It's only objective to Western science, so we can say that to Western medicine, because in other cultures and other spirits and other religions, they will probably be able to, you know.
Oh, definitely,
and interact with it, but to Western, it's subjective.
Oh yeah, in the Philippines, we have our witch doctors and our shamans and shit. So yeah, definitely, Eastern cultures, they have a system that interconnects all of it. Not so much in the Western culture, like you said. Yeah,
I had a dream once where I was on the freeway, and all of a sudden, like we were getting, like, they were kind of rallying us and corralling us towards one lane. And the lane ended up being a fucking DUI checkpoint, dude. And I was drunk as fuck, and I was already too deep into the line.
And that shit happened to me in real life, but go ahead.
Like, fuck, I am fucked. You know what I mean? When I woke up from that dream or that nightmare, I was like, dude, thank God I'm free. Thank God, you know what I mean? I didn't fuck up, and I have the variables around me that are here. So objectively, the subjective is the dream, right? But the objective results of that is I was more appreciative of my life and what I had, you know, and that objectively yielded better experiences with the people that were around me.
Shit, for a homie, it could have been like it could have been some ingrained trauma towards police. You know, everybody interprets it differently.
It's legal psychedelics, bro. Like,
and then sometimes I feel like our dreams tell us things that we refuse to acknowledge. Like, what if you just
people blocking it out just don't even dwell and try to interpret
it? And so your brain was like, he won't acknowledge it while he's asleep or while he's awake. He won't acknowledge it while he's daydreaming. He won't listen when we give him the random message while he's driving, while he's cooking, while he's doing this. So we're gonna give it to him in a dream, straightforward, what we're trying to tell him. You know, like that's sometimes what that feels like.
I've actually
with a message like that.
I've had one of those before. Probably the most straightforward dream that I've ever had was when my stepfather passed away, and I dreamt of him. He was on his bed. There was a Ouija board / clock above his head. The clock was, I remember every single detail too.
There's a lot of symbolism there.
The clock was spinning counterclockwise, and the Ouija, the glass that's going over the letters of the Ouija board was like going crazy. You know, everything was like, it's like someone's doing a reading, but someone's pressing fast forward, but it's like reverse because the clock's going in counterclockwise. And my stepfather, he's like mouthing to me. I can't hear the words, but the words are entering into my mind. He's saying, "I'm still alive." And I'm like, and I literally answered him in my dream, like, "Nah, nigga, you dead." That's exactly what I was like, "Nigga, you are dead, bro." I was like, we seen your ass go into the dirt, nigga. You are dead. But I told him, and then he's like mouthing, "I'm still alive." And then you just see I just saw the Ouija board just going crazy. And I was just like, I woke up, I'm like, okay, the force may the force be with your ass, like, cause your ass is a force ghost, like a motherfucker, bro.
No, that's crazy.
I swear to God, cross my heart, hope to die. You know, strike me.
Those are the type of dreams you don't have to write down. Like, you just remember that shit forever.
No, it wasn't. It was, no offer. That's why I thought, was it like a spirit that's taking his form? I'm like, no, that actually had to be him at the gate, because because every time is one point. So he passed away. He's waiting at the gate. My mind didn't have the vibration to reach that pocket until this point in my life. And then finally, ding, I'm synchronizing and I could meet him right at the gate. And he's telling me I'm still alive. I actually had because I work in the medical field, I actually had another experience like that with a patient. The patient was a teacher, and I developed a very strong relationship with this patient. And several years later, he passed away, and I had a dream. I was in a classroom, and I was writing in a notebook. I turn around, the door flings open. There's a bright light, and it's him. I just run over, give him a hug. Same thing. He speaks to me telepathically. He says, "It's going to get harder." And then he disappeared.
It's kind of interesting that you say they're speaking to you telepathically, because I've had 2 dreams. I've had 2 friends pass. I had a friend pass when I was graduating high school, maybe the year before I graduated, so like 2009. And he died. He got killed, and I had a dream about him, and I remember the dream, and it's similar because you said the classroom, and it's interesting because obviously I went to school with him. So for me, like, the classroom is like the school setting, but I kind of feel like now that you bring up the classroom, it might be something deeper than just the school,
like a nexus, like a nexus point.
Exactly. And so he comes out the classroom, and we're talking, but it's funny because I don't remember us actually talking. I know we were talking, but I don't actually remember us talking, and I never like looked at it as like telepathically speaking. And so we're talking, blah, blah, blah. And I actually do remember him saying he has to leave now, but it's funny. I don't know if he said it out of his mouth. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not sure if he did. And so that happens. And so I had another friend pass maybe 2 years later, and so I had a dream about him too, as well. And his was definitely telepathic, because I'm like, the setting was like, if you were, I don't know if you guys ever had like the school lunches, or like I don't even know if I've ever did this myself, but like, to me, it looked like at the end of the school year when like high schools got together and like, they're like, oh, there's a picnic at the park or something. I don't know. We're all eating lunch together at the park. I don't know. But it seemed like there was a bunch of different schools together. And the reason why I say different is because I moved high schools. So we went to different high schools when he died. But I remember, like, I was sitting at the table. He's he's eating across from me, and I like look up and I'm looking at him and I'm like crying because I start to cry because I'm like, he's dead. And I'm like telling everybody like DeAndre's right there. And he's laughing at me. And everybody's like, no, DeAndre's not right there. He's gone. I'm like, but he's literally right there laughing. And like, I don't know. It just strikes me as like telepathic communication, even though I never actually perceived it as that. But it really strikes me as like, he's telepathically communicating with me, telling me he's there. But in my dreamscape, he can't, people can't see him because it's just me and him. So I just think that's super interesting because I never actually, especially being it somebody who passed, I never ever looked at it as being possible telepathic communication, even though when I remember the dreams, we weren't actually speaking to each other.
See, the reason why it's a big highlight for me is because in most of my dreams, actually, I would argue in all of my dreams, when I am speaking with someone who is alive or a random NPC in my dream, I remember I remember the sensations of having actual verbal exchange. But when it comes to these people who've passed, it does not feel that way. I don't, what I'm saying?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it was verbal.
It's like if you get shot, in the
information in my head, like ding.
Yeah.
If you get shot out to the quantum realm on some Doctor Strange shit, like it's so rare to be like, oh, you speak English too? Like English is first of all a new language. I feel like it's more likely to meet an entity that speaks Latin, you know what I mean, or Greek or something else opposed to English, you know what I'm saying?
And so they would telepathically communicate to you because it's just
that's their language
going into you, and you're translating it to your current self.
Yep.
So
and then going back to what you said about the internet was here and it's ours, like we're going towards transhumanism and chipping people to where now people can kind of communicate without talking. You know what I mean? So we're kind of going back to what we were technologically wise. You know what I mean?
Except for that's dangerous because it's artificial.
It's a bastardized version.
Everybody's psychic, and we're going the artificial way when all you got to do is just try to be psychic.
Yeah. They capitalism.
There's money in that shit.
Yeah.
There's money in making you feel like you are.
Because there's
no money in making you know that you are.
Like we talked, if you get those chips implanted, who knows what hormonal changes that comes with, that's going to send you to the hospital more. You know what I mean?
There is I just feel like there's endless possibilities of what could be distributed to you. Like we're already avoiding 5G. The 5G don't even touch our skin.
Yeah.
Like it's not even making contact with us. And we're like, no, we got to have 5G blockers and we got to have all this. Who knows the possibilities of what could happen when they implant something into you, period. And
how easily that could get hacked.
How easily it can get hacked, and not by those who we want to hack. Who we might want to hack it. Set us free.
So wait, that makes me think about those. So have you heard the theory that like some people in real life are literally NPCs? Like they have a skin body, they're walking around, but they may not have a soul. And that makes me think, because how she's saying everybody's telepathic, blah blah blah. What if there are beings who are literally just not able to elevate their consciousness?
Agent Smith.
So they would use the artificial way.
So
that's
imagine
Agent
if
Smith.
we have a whole wave of people getting more conscious, connecting, elevating their powers. Motherfuckers are moving water on fucking TikTok and making shit fly and shit. So imagine if you have this group of people, now the elites or whatever, they literally got to have something to combat that, in the unnatural way. They already know this natural wave is coming of these beings. They've been saying indigo children and crystal children are supposed to come and, do all this shit. So they're literally going to use those NPCs to get the fucking Neuralinks, because they literally can't access these things. And those are going to be, it's going to be like a fucking movie. It's going to be the battle of the organics versus the inorganics.
That's their way to even the playing field.
That's the only way they can do it, because they know this shit is going to happen. They can't stop it.
Synthetics versus organics.
Here's the real bait and switch. Our AI, artificial intelligence, is not the actual artificial intelligence. It's going to be all the shit the NPCs are dealing with, or not dealing with, but their process, their mind process. So we're worried about the ChatGPT, and not to say we shouldn't be worried about it. That's not my point. My point is to say is that it's the bait and switch. We're more so worried about like the technology they give us, but the NPC, artificial intelligence, is going to be around us on the street, in our jobs.
It's already in our phones.
Exactly.
That's what I was saying. They have a sample of us too, so it's like they know us better than, because they got our algorithm, so they got our behaviors and our tendencies. You know, they know what we like, they know what we don't like, despite us clicking. Because I heard that some apps, they track your pupil dilations to see what you really like and what you don't like. So if you're in the For You page, yeah. So that's why they ask. That's another underlying reason why they ask for access to your camera too, because
that's diabolical work. But did you guys hear that the Pokemon Go game was to track and make a GPS?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were tracking everybody. Yeah, they were tracking.
Yeah, they admitted it. They said Pokemon Go. I didn't mean to make the subject change, but it reminded me of it. They said, yeah, every time we wanted to map an area, we would just put Pokemon in that area.
Damn, that's crazy.
So people would use the AR thing and scan it like that. Yeah.
Got them all.
So you guys just did all of our work of using a camera to map out this area.
Well, yeah, because Niantic has several apps. They have several apps and several games that rely on.
Yo, we got played. We got played because it wasn't even a cool game. Let's be honest. Like we didn't really get the battle type shit.
I'm sorry,
you know
I tried to tell y'all.
Yo, me and the homie predicted that shit. Me and the homie was playing a game of Pokemon. No, we was playing Yu-Gi-Oh. We was playing a game of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. We was dueling in the fucking garage. It was way back in the day. We predicted, man, wouldn't that be dope if you could like just go to fucking Mount Everest and catch a fucking Regice or some shit, and then we had some ambitious shit. We wanted to send motherfuckers really on a Pokemon adventure. They have motherfuckers going to Starbucks in somebody's backyard to get shot.
Yes, fucking graveyard in the graveyard catching fucking gasoline.
In front of Five Below and Sprouts and
motherfuckers
and Wingstop and shit.
Motherfuckers.
Yo, I'll be honest too. I was driving around swiping up, fucking catching Pokemon and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
I'll admit that. I don't give a shit.
Doing some wild shit. Motherfuckers with speed Pokemon catching.
I mean, I still think it's a little bit fun, like when you just go out. So say like you
hold up. I will say that
you're in a new place. Say you go to San Francisco, boom. There's gonna be some shit there that's not where you're around, you know.
I played
giving them the deets. You really
They getting the deets either way. But I was gonna say, did you know you could spoof that game? I literally fucking had this thing where you could GPS spoof it.
Yes, that's what I did, bro.
You could fucking walk your person around, bro.
Water.
Dog. That shit made time go by so
They let you do that so that they can continue to track it.
But guess what? Spoofing the game is actually going against their tracking algorithm. So that's like a fuck you to, you're tracking me? No, you're fucking not. I'm sitting in my house saying I'm walking in San Francisco. Your data is not getting.
And I got a fucking Genghis Khan, bro.
The stupidest shit ever was I seen someone was on a cruise ship. They were like, and they posted a fucking screenshot. They said, "Nigga, where the water Pokemon at?" It was in the middle of this sprite. Was in the middle of the water. There's nothing, bro.
Nothing.
That's hilarious, and now we know why.
They should just automatically spawn endless fucking water Pokemon if you're in the fucking ocean. Like, come on, bro. What kind of stupid shit?
Well, yo, their alibi is probably to be able to do that. You know, they're tracking and GPS tracking so that they can be able to put water Pokemon in all the water places. So that's probably the alibi and the Trojan horse for all this.
We gave them permission. It said in there, we're tracking you anywhere you go. We're using it for this. We signed away. Yep, agreement. Yep. Let me play the game.
And y'all dumb as hell.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't play the game.
Digimon was always better though. I thought.
I didn't do it.
You know, Digimon was always better.
It's fine.
Digimon what?
Digimon was always better in my opinion. So
like I feel like the Digimon were crazy. It's like motherfuckers fused with like a jet plane and he got a fucking gun on his arm and he's wearing ripped up jeans or a fucking monkey with a sombrero on. Like
you're right. Some of them turn into just straight up angels, dude. And it's like, what the fuck are we watching?
Devilmon and shit. You know, they had like they straight up had like fucking what is it? Ophinamon. Like they had all kinds of fucking
Alpha and Omegamon or whatever.
You know what I'm saying? They had like
reason why I hated Digimon.
They had Garudamon, you know, they had all kinds of spirits and shit.
I'll be honest, I didn't like none of them when I was younger, but I specifically had a particular smoke for Digimon. I was like, this shit is weird. I don't know what it was. I mean, I did watch Pokemon. I did watch Pokemon a little bit, but I wasn't like a fucking fanatic about it. But I think
Digimon showed what Pokemon was really supposed to be. And we talked about this on a previous show. Demonology, right? Like these pocket monsters are digital. You know what I mean? It's Digimon was more, it built the narrative of these things were digital monsters, right?
Did I go get my Demon Book?
Oh, go get it. Maybe we'll wrap up with Demon Book because
hey, you know what's tight about that? There's a fucking anime called yokai in like Asia. That's what they call like demons and shit like that. So there's literally an anime called Yokai Watch, and they're capturing these yokai, and then like I go look at real demon books, I'm like, oh shit, these are real entities out there, you know?
Yeah, man.
The Digimon are named like after the spirits and shit. Yeah, like Garuda is an actual like Indian bird like entity and shit. You know what I mean? So they literally tit for tat were like mirroring spirits and deities and the spirit realm. They were literally saying the digital realm is the spirit realm. Here's all these Digimon that are named after demons and angels and shit. They just exist in the digital realm. It kind of ties back to what she was saying earlier about the interface between consciousness and the digital you know,
world.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, there's no actual physical proof that is interfacing, but everything's telling us that that's the truth. You know what I mean? That the internet and consciousness are one and the same.
Also, like I said, I was kind of reluctant and hesitant to dive into demonology because of my Christian and Catholic upbringing. But it seems like, I am. Dude. I am. But come on, I'm finding out that each demon is like has a specific function, right? So just like Pokemon, you get a fire type to make a fire, and you get a water type if you need some water functions. You know what I mean? And the wise ones put him back in the Pokeball because you got to bring him back. You know what I mean? Otherwise, they possess you, right?
The magic ring.
So what I would say on that though is, as the same as there's demons who have all these functions, there's also higher level beings who sometimes do the same function as that, you know? So it's kind of like, which side are you choosing to go about this function? You know, when you learn about a lot of deities, orishas and stuff, it's like, oh, they do the same thing as that dude. So I don't know, maybe some people don't have access to those higher level. Like if you think about it, if they say like things are on vibrational level, so say demons are down here, what if angels are like up here? What if something else is on the next level? I feel like the people who kind of use the magic to access those, they probably, like, if they tried, they couldn't even access those higher levels. They may be cut off to that, or just vibrationally, you know. I feel like that's the whole thing about Satanism and stuff. It's like there's a perturbed way to get to this end result, and then there's a pure way to get to this result. And it's like, these dudes gotta fucking do blood sacrifices and do all this shit. And it's like, I've like asked deities for stuff and just gave them food and like did some shit and they gave it to me. So it's like, dude, who are you choosing to work with and who has what power? Because these guys are asking you for blood and you got to drink blood and do this, but I'm asking for the same thing, and I didn't have to give all that. You know what I mean?
Dude, so this is the conversation we got into. It was the natives. They probably worship these deities and they know these deities, and they didn't call them demons, right? I think the demon brand was put on by the Catholic Church or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean?
The word daemon.
They had a relationship with them, just like Pokemon and Digimon. They're stronger when you're friends with them, right? So they would make sacrifices, or they would worship, and then in turn they would yield rain. You know, you do rain dance, you get rain, or you get crops. But the fact that we captured these things into these chips now, and we're making them run computers, you know what I mean? That's also a theory that we caught them. We caught the Pokemon, and now they're in this chip, and the Digimons are in these digital realms now. Now, instead of having this relationship where we're sacrificing or we have this friendship with them, it's a slave kind of relationship now. You know what I mean?
So I have something to say like on that too. So have you heard of like an egregore? And that's basically like say human conscious, say we all think of this thing so much, it becomes a real thing now. So what you said about like using their energy, I was thinking, so now what if you have people calling upon these energies, but using it for a negative thing? Does that now create a new negative, and it creates its own thing? I feel like, because even like things like Baphomet and some of these entities, I've seen versions of them that were not, you know, that main one that we see. So it almost seems like a whole new entity is created when you start to do these negative things with it. And because like, so if you've seen American Gods too, freaking Jesus, there's like fucking 50 of them on there, and there's one that speaks Spanish, and it's like basically all these people,
you know, it's
energy to all of these things. They've created a whole nother version of that thing that is separate from the original.
Well, due to our inability to see in higher dimensions, it just simply appears as multiple, but really we're seeing another emanation of the same thing.
Another version. Like you can only see it through your lens.
Because like, you know, if a fourth dimensional being dips his finger into our universe, it's gonna look like a random object just expanding. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like us seeing two different types of Jesuses, that could just be one Jesus, but we're seeing, you know, that's just different perceptions of the same being, right? So, I mean, I get what you're saying, though. That's more or less how I think it is. You know what I mean? There's different emanations that everybody has access of viewing, but it all ties to one source.
Yo, so I've been talking with Mel about this actually, and I think we're blinded by the polarity of bad and good.
Yes.
Right? In Star Wars lore and in fucking Doctor Strange, they rise beyond the polarity when they, you know, dabble between that middle ground, right? Mm-hmm. To be able to use bad and good, right? And know that they're polarities of energy instead of voting left or right type shit. You know what I mean? Yep. So I feel like the gatekeepers know that. And since Christianity and Catholicism has people conditioned to have almost satanic panic, to hide these traditions and to hide these rituals, they just brand it as demonic. And so people are like, oh, I'm gonna stay away from that, that's demonic, you know, I don't fuck with that.
So that it polarizes you.
Yeah, when it actually is, you know what I mean, a tool, a spiritual tool that people can use. Granted, there are instructions that you need to know in order to use it the right way without it overpowering you, you know what I mean? But I feel like a Native American or like an islander or an indigenous person knows that, oh, it's just a deity. It's not like, oh, that's some demon magic, black magic, witchcraft shit you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like that's the bait and switch though, because they took what we used to do and they fucking do it and they tell us it's not real. The fucking corporations, they use astrology to figure out when to drop this and when to. So all these ancient practices and secret things, they take, oh, that's the devil. Tarot, that's the devil. They took yoga that we used to do.
Dude, Washington, D.C.
The
layout of Washington, D.C. is all sacred geometry, right?
Fucking pentagram and shit. Yeah, there's an owl on the ground too. Yeah, everything is geometry and fucking.
Yoga saved my fucking life, bro. It opened up my fucking hips.
All my girls do yoga.
Took pain off my sciatic nerve. My sciatic nerve is free. You know, all the compressing
at the beach.
Oh, all that's.
Hey, you know, it's crazy because me and Charming were talking about how, like, you know, ascension and it's a lot of the talks is, you know, all these spiritual practices you do, but like we were talking about the God body, and like what you find out is when you start working out and like if you look at gods, a lot of those motherfuckers is ripped. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like when you work out the body, there's all these energy channels that you are able to access now. Like anybody who worked out, you know, sometimes like when you press, you could feel like a jolt of electricity almost like go through your body. And it's like, if you don't do that, you'll never like I feel like it's cleared out so many like blockages in certain parts energetically in certain parts of my body. You know, I'm like, fuck, like, okay, like I just felt that the energy shoot through that joint. And now it's cleared out and shit, like crazy.
Or like when you stretch and your spine opens up, boom, and releases the gas in between the joints. You could feel the energy climb up the spinal column and kind of give you that euphoria.
It's weird. We talked about the Merkabah earlier, but yeah, that's almost like getting used to your vehicle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your body. You're able to like really almost drive with one hand or drive with your knee type shit now. You know what I mean? Because you're so used to navigating and moving your body. So
now you just got to get in flow state, moving autopilot.
Yeah, now it's the mind shit.
No hands.
And that's true because, like, you know, a lot of like, you know, I've been following consciousness shit since like 2012 or before. Ascension was always about like, oh, after you're outside of your body, you know, it's this whole thing of like, oh, you want to get to the fifth dimension, you want to be outside of your physical body, you know, but then I've heard new concepts talking about embodied ascension, and it's like that's the bait and switch. What is Christianity about? Oh, you're gonna get your blessings after you fucking die, you know?
Yeah,
What
you
about
What
sacrifice
about right
here,
now?
yeah,
suffer here.
stuff for here. Like,
Yeah.
so even just like working out, fucking it takes discipline to meditate. Like Christianity is like, okay, you just die, you pray, you're gonna get there. But like real
Dude,
ascension
their
is like you
symbol is
gotta
literally their deity suffering, bro. Like,
I will admit that there's
Crazy.
power. There's
Disrespectful.
power. There's power in prayer, you know. So there is truth in that, but
Yeah.
they don't teach you that the actions that are supposed to follow those prayers, because you know prayer without actions is basically a dead horse, right?
yeah, but if you kill me with a gun, like my cult isn't gonna have a gun as the symbol. You know what I mean?
Well, what I'm
like
trying to
that.
say is like being so for me, for example, being taught how to pray properly, how to manifest in the mind, and then also learning Eastern traditions of yoga that help me feel physically better. Those together help me manifest the outcomes that I desire more frequently. So it's like having one without the other. It's like having only one side of the force. Having understanding of one side of the force.
I brought up the cross and the gun because you see, Phantom, you said egregores, right?
yeah.
And we kept talking about bait and switch this whole episode, and I think that's why. You know, these people. When I say these people, use your imagination, but these people are aware that there's spiritual energy. You know what I mean? So let's use the gun analogy, right? They're aware that you're going to pray to that God and you're going to pray to that symbol. So they siphon your energy, but it's not really to the deity that you think. It's a bait and switch. It's almost like a Trojan horse. So they're taking that energy, and then after you're all done, you go home after church, they take off the mask, if you will, you know what I mean? And they worship their egregore, whether it's Baphomet or whatever the fuck they worship, you know what I mean? So
I is God
spiritual hijacking, I think. You know,
do you think God himself is egregore, or God herself, their self?
I
Whatever,
feel like
you
it's
know?
just like a conscious. I don't think it's a thing. I think it's like a ether. Like it's kind of like a all thing. You know, it would only be an egregore if it was created by something else. I guess because
By the
egregore is
human thought,
created
by the thoughts
something.
of humans themselves. You know,
I think it's source, and the fact that we can create egregores is our, like, you know what I mean, reflection of
source.
God.
we're like
you know what I mean?
co-creating it.
Like, yo, you can create too. You know what I'm saying? You don't need
Yeah,
to work.
it's like
with
it's
these
already
deities
there,
that
and
they're
then
saying,
us,
hey, worship this.
we're like co-creating smaller emanations of it that kind of coalesce into one when you kind of zoom out and look at all of it, right?
Yeah. Shit, bro. Charmin, you got the demonology book. Let's open it up.
I do. I was reading about Set because Set is in it as a demon.
Is that a bird or
He's like a aardvark,
a wallaby?
or some shit, like-
Yeah, isn't that his brother? That's
Osiris or Ra is his brother.
Ra's brother,
Yeah.
right? And then
Is he like the
Osiris
hawk?
is the reincarnation of Ra through Isis.
Set,
So he's
hold
a
on.
demon? Seth is a demon?
So it's kind
He's
of
a
funny
dog,
because
right?
that's what's interesting about this book is that they actually I guess they define demons a certain way, and so they have it listed have them like listed, and like some demons you're like, oh, that's the demon. So I like it because it has water demons, mountain, forest, and then it also has, I think, earth. Oh, it has desert. Oh, where am I at? This side. Desert, domicile, and psych demons.
Literally
So-
Pokemon.
Literally.
I know.
Literally, for real. So like a psych demon,
Is that like principality and all that?
7 deadly sins.
Oh, so
7 deadly sins, one of the psych demons. So
I think that's just like a general book. It's not,
what is it?
he was asking about the principalities and whatnot. I was telling him I think that's just like a general kind of dictionary for it, you know, right? For just like all demons, right? That book.
I suppose so. Yeah, it has
like
it has
different
quite
cultures.
a few. Like it has the 7 deadly sins. It has the Eid from Freud. It has Mr. Hyde. It has the Shadow from Jung. It has the Quantum Daemon. Maybe we should look at that one. I never.
Yeah,
looked
those
it
are
up.
all the psych. Those are all the psych, like the mental psych.
Yeah, those are all the psych demons. So it's kind of like it kind of shows what we. I feel like it kind of shows what we have kind of categorized as demons unknowingly.
Right,
And
right.
they treat these entities or deities like they're demons and it may be unknowing or whatever.
Even the word daemon is supposed to be
domain,
not good
internet
or bad.
Domain.
It's not supposed to be good or bad. You know what I mean? They took the A out and then the DEMON. They put like a negative overtone on it. But really, daemon is supposed to just be an apparition of some kind.
Okay. Are we going to end this chapter with me reading to you guys?
The quantum daemon. Yeah, then we can do that.
This episode because I want to read this because it started off kind of cool.
Yeah, read it. Let's do it.
Cool. So the quantum daemon is an unidentified flying species inspired by the subatomic. See, I can't even say the word. Subatomic universe that is neither angel nor demon, but simply potential. An energy flowing everywhere that can become a positive force. Robert Burton, in his Anatomy of Melancholy of 1622, attributed to melancholy the sickness of heart, black anxiety and sorrow, fearfulness and suspicion, the state of the human psyche from which proceed visions of demons. The devil, and it's a quote, so I'm reading this down. The devil, he is a spirit and hath means and opportunity to mingle himself with our spirits, and sometimes more slyly, sometimes more abruptly and openly to suggest devilish thoughts into our hearts. He insults and domineers in melancholy, distempered fantasies especially. He is a prince of the air and can transform himself into several shapes, delude our senses for a time, but his power is determined. He may terrify us, but not hurt. Isaac Bashevis Singer, a 20th century writer, believed in the reality of demons and also believed that they were a creation of God for mysterious reasons we could never know. Singer thought, however, that before a demon could enter and take possession of a human being, there had to first be a giving up of will, a lack of hope. So the lore, it says the lore, once a maiden of dazzling beauty named Pandora was created out of clay and water by the god Hephaestus on orders of Zeus. Zeus, always in the T. Anyways, all the gods gave her gifts, put flowers in her hair, adorned her with jewels, and breathed life into her. Zeus then gave her a large vase containing destructive powers along with a warning never to open it. Why would he do that? Endowed her with curiosity and sent her to humankind as a punishment. Pandora arrived on Earth, and once there was seized with curiosity, unable to resist opening the forbidden vase, she unsealed the lid. From the container flew hordes of miseries, the dark spirits of greed, despair, envy, wrath, blotting all light with a multitude of wings. Pandora slammed the container shut while it still held a creature called Hope. This is Zeus's fault.
Yo.
Anyway. I told you. The guide, so disarming and dispelling technique. So this chapter, I like this book too because I also give you like some techniques, I guess.
This is what you need right here.
So disarming and dispelling techniques. The guide attempts a I don't know how to pronounce this because it's a different language right here.
You got to get if you're learning this and you want to use this, you got to get the pronunciation and the enunciation.
Well, good, because I'm not trying to dispel them right now. So it's,
yeah, exactly.
What's
that in the back? No, I'm just kidding.
The accent is throwing me off with the whole word, so I can't like my English words will say "siecle."
Yeah. Oh shit.
But anyways,
something moved in the back. Something moved in the back.
Don't say that. Royal, come out here right now. So here it is. So you guys can write it down and remember for later. But the Pandora experiment, the guide attempts to I'm assuming like finish it, close it off, because the fiend usually means like finish, done. So the Pandora experiment to recapture the daemon, that quantum energy imbuing all nature, bringing with it inspiration, uncanny moments of sudden awareness, and acting as intermediary of the divine and the terrestrial realm. In the experiment, we translate the ancient animistic worldview into the point of view of modern physics. Let's call it the quantum daemon. Imagine it as transparent. The box it rests in is invisible. Like the brilliant physicist Aaron Schrodinger cat, wow, I know him, used in his virtual cat in the box experiment to demonstrate the nature of the subatomic world. That was in parentheses, very wordy. And so you guys know Aaron Schrodinger.
Yeah, that fucking cat in the box.
If it's there, is it really there? If it's open it's not
is
there.
Is it an apple? Is it a fucking,
Yeah. So the quantum daemon is neither alive or dead. It is neither particle or wave. It is neither fortune or misfortune, neither good nor evil. It is not one thing or another until we open the box. It is how the observer opens the box and with what mindset that not only informs, but determines the nature of the spirit about to fly. The millennial psych species and the viewer participant together may send positive or negative energies out into the universe. The guide hopes that if any reader cites the quantum daemon, it will be for him or for her a new and shining spirit. The end. That's the end of the book too. So
CERN is fucking with a demon. Right.
Yeah, I seen it thing where it said CERN, like they literally had an apparition.
It said like 4D a ghost or some shit.
4D ghost. Yeah, I even made a meme about that, and I put myself in there. I was like, "There's a fan of in there." Yep.
Yeah. So basically, like, that's kind of cool because it's really about like the observer, and I'm really into like the observer technique of like handling life because I feel like a lot of us, like, we have been trained like, oh, your emotions are valid. And not to say your emotions are not valid, but to say that you can step away from your emotions and they still be valid. You know, like you can look at your emotions and they're still be valid. If you're sad, if you're angry, if you're disappointed, whatever it is, you can look at them and not be attached to them and they're still valid. And then when you look at them, you're given an opportunity by yourself to look at the situation in a grander perspective and then figure out what needs to be done from the observer point of view, not from the attached point of view, not from the emotional point of view, not from the jealous point of view, not from the disappointed, just from the observer. Like, what would be the best situation or the best response to the situation as the observer? Not as myself, not as Tanisha, not as the person, but as the observer. And then you give yourself the opportunity to like move into your higher self and then act upon your higher self and not act upon your physical body, which may sometimes make you make decisions that are regretful or make decisions that you were like, you know what, I shouldn't even have put this much effort into it. And now, you know, I'm here and now I got to do this, you know? And so I'm really into that observer perspective because for a lot of people, I feel like it's hard to like, how do I deal with this situation without becoming so attached to it? And it's like, you observe it.
You have to compartmentalize.
You honestly do. And it's like, for me, I
and be pragmatic.
Too much. It's too much. There's a good balance. And so I think for people who cannot compartmentalize, observing is a good way to like step into that, because then you're just looking at yourself. You're not judging. You're not embodying that energy. The energy still exists, but you're not embodying it, and you're not, or I guess mentally embodying it because it's in your body technically, you know?
So now I'm going to ask you this. So do you think when you're in that observer effect and you're observing yourself outside of yourself, do you think you're giving up your free will for a bit in order for the demon to work? Because I heard that angels are like the archons, right? They make sure things are going because they're programmed, right, by God. But the demons are the ones that question things and try to change certain things. You know what I mean? And I also heard that when you try to change your life, whether it's for good or bad, you're straying from, you know, you're grasping free will, and free will was this one thing that God told you not to, you know what I mean, access because of, you know, the fruit or whatever.
Okay, I got one question. If your God don't want you to have free will, what kind of God is that?
That's what I'm saying. That was the conversation that was had. You know what I mean?
I'm like, y'all
because from my belief of free will is really like, it's really like blurred, because like I genuinely feel like we have free will, but it's inside of a box still.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you can move.
Limited free will.
You have limited free will. Like you are able to move here and here and here and here, or you're gonna experience this and this. And I'm a big astrology girl. So I personally believe that half of the shit that you've experienced or are gonna experience, it's written in your astrology. It's written in your birth chart. It's written, and it could skew from this way to this way. But so far, my personal experience of looking at my birth chart, everything that I've experienced has been described in a certain degree in my birth chart. And so free will is very iffy, confusing for me because I'm not sure if we can, like, I think that the term free will is what we think of it is not actually what it is.
Well, because, I've seen it. In the Spider-Verse, there's literally canon events. So I feel like we do have free will, but I feel like there's still canon events where it's like this event literally makes this happen or that. And so maybe the fine details that get us there, we may have control over that aspect, Yeah,
because you could choose at those forks, basically.
No, there are canon events, but I think free will is to be able to say, nah. Do my own thing.
Choosing at the fork.
That's the thing but that's not how free will works because we still have things that are controlling us. Gravity fucking controls us, first of all. We're here in the earth because of gravity. The planets control us. The moon controls us. The sun controls us. Those things do have a partial say in what we do and how we feel and how we act. And if it didn't, then it wouldn't control our food that we eat. You can only get tomatoes during a certain season, and that's because of the sun. You can only get watermelons during a certain season. That's because of the sun. You can only get certain fruits, but that's because of the moon. There's a farmer's almanac where they literally plant based off of the moon.
So does that mean?
I don't necessarily feel like we could go against free will because, like the planets, like, okay, for example, Pluto. Pluto is a dark planet. Pluto is meant for us to go into the darkness. Pluto is meant for us to face the darkness. What do you do if you don't face the darkness? Where do you grow if you don't face the darkness? What's next for you if there's no moments in life where you have to face the darkness? You cannot free will your way out of facing darkness or facing and darkness is different for everybody.
But isn't free will the ability to choose, like, fuck the darkness, I'm just chill right here?
Okay,
sounds like the only free will choice you have is choosing death.
I guess that's not free will. Yeah,
choosing death.
Your definition.
Choosing death and choosing how you die.
The only free will you actually have is not a choice. It's acceptance. That's the actually only free will.
You can choose how you die. You can choose how you die, though.
I think this is where I feel like I was going to bring up Aleister Crowley.
You can choose how you die. That's what I remember I was telling you. Dying under that palm tree with the dogs,
but most people don't choose how they die. Most people don't choose how they die. You can, but that's not generally the way people die is by the choice.
That's not generally how people think, but that's how I think. See, I think backwards. I have my end goal, and then I work backwards from it. I think of the things that I have to do to get to that end goal, but I have an end goal, which is dying underneath that palm tree on the beach, baby. Let's go.
Anyway, I brought up Crowley because I feel like, you know what I mean? The fact that we are controlled by the moon biologically, you know what I mean? And chemically, I feel like accessing certain demons, since demons are a real thing, you know what I mean? Or whatever you want to call them, entities, can glitch or hack the matrix in a sense to, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Either change the quantum realm or change something physically or change the outcomes of what can happen, right? So the do what thou wilt is kind of being able to use natural laws or universal laws in order to, you know what I mean, take control, if you will, and go against what the program is, you know what I mean? But he was like labeled as the bad boy.
Like, he went super dark with it, and it kind of like it fucked him up in the end.
If you're using
I
talked to Mel about that, but who said that? You know what I mean? Like the people that are calling him Evil B666.
Well, I mean, he was. I guess it's the rituals he was doing, bro. Like he was literally doing satanic rituals, like sex with goats, killing shit, whatever. Those
didn't he openly admit to doing all that shit, too?
Bro, he did. Yeah. He was like he was trying to fully.
And I think that's the confusion with free will is like, yes, we can do whatever we want, but what's the spiritual purpose? And I think that's the bait and switch with free will is, like I said, sure, you can do whatever you want, but in overall, we are spiritual humans. Like, if you don't believe in a God, if you don't believe in that, that's your own fucking bone to pick. But there's no doubt that we are not spiritual people and interact with spirits in a certain way. So I guess the thing with free will is like, yeah, you can fuck goats, but what's the fucking point? Like, so what are you getting out of it? Like, what is the spiritual achievement in that, or is it just?
But everything is not trying to
the
be.
next
Every
one
being is not trying to
because
be
you have free
spiritual.
will.
Every being is not trying to be.
What do you
like,
get
that's
from
not what I'm
fucking
saying.
ghosts?
I'm just talking about Crowley himself, like in his idea of free will, like his idea of free will.
So then, what if your free will goes against natural law? Are there repercussions?
Exactly.
The way that nature.
Well, if you go with natural law, then you don't have free will. You're in sync.
Then you don't have free will.
Yeah, you're in sync with.
You'll never have free will if there's a law of cause and effect.
Exactly,
because you're going to have to pay eventually, right?
Yeah.
There's spiritual laws, there's physical laws.
That's why I think the only free will. That's why
you can almost buy as much time as you can, but you're eventually gonna have to get judged, or you're eventually gonna have to pay it.
But I think that's what the Satanists do is they try to make this physical. They're like, I'm gonna do everything here because that other shit is like they don't care about the repercussions. Each little ritual they do, they're trying to buy more time. You know, they're already so far gone. They're like, I'm gonna live it up here because I already know I ain't getting nothing good outside of this physical.
And that factors into their trickster personality. You know what I mean? Because they don't want to go. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, misery loves company, so they'll perpetuate that shit for more people to join them. Yeah, you know what I mean. So,
shit, nothing's free, man. Free will's a psyop.
It's so.
You can choose. Like I said, dude, the only free will choice that you have is choose how you die. You want to die a hero, or you want to die a scrub? It's up to you.
I want to be like Buddha and just be like, I'm just chill here, dude. Figure it out.
Yeah, you could do that too. That's totally fine, man. A lot of people do that, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Shit. Whoa. Damn. Let's wrap it up. You guys have any projects coming out? I know you guys are busy with music. You guys got a DJ setup too that you guys have events going on, right?
Yeah, I got some projects I've been working on for some years, but I'm not gonna lie, like when I started like getting into DJing, it just felt like a new thing where I was kind of like, I don't know, it just kind of felt like I like doing this more than some of the other stuff. And it's not like I won't like still make my own music, but it's like it almost feels more free because I feel like when I'm writing songs, like it's still free, but it's structured. And it's like me, even as an artist, I listen to like everything that comes out, all new shit. You know, every week I'm listening to brand new shit. So I even more than listening to myself, I do like listening to like all the new stuff that comes out. So I don't know, I kind of just felt like I'm on this new level where even like making money wise, it's like it seems a lot more lucrative that you can just do DJ gigs, you know, than trying to like go perform and like you can still stream your music obviously, but I don't know, it just seems like lucrative wise, because when we go, you know, we set up the stack, we do like little shows like that, it doesn't feel like so much pressure. Like say you're going to do a show, it's pretty chill, but it's like you still get paid. I don't know, it's a new energy that I'm in right now, and I'm kind of like I like this more, you know. So definitely just trying to do more like DJ events and kind of like even probably start like streaming, just DJing, going live and shit like that, you know, just hella shit like that.
Yeah, that's starting to get a little more popular too. People streaming on Twitch, doing DJ stuff. And you said you use sound clips in your music, and I feel like MF Doom kind of had some DJ, you know what I mean, influences, because you don't have to use your voice for everything in the song. You could just use samples, or you can use other tracks. You know what I mean? I feel like you explore that when you're a DJ, and then transitioning that into rapping. You know what I mean? It almost fills in the spaces where you would kind of fill them up with, I don't know, like ad libs or you know what I mean, words type shit.
I think that's kind of the beauty of like when say you want to be a rapper, but being a producer and doing all these other things, like even when going in to write a song, because I make beats, because like you said, I can get sound clips and shit, you kind of almost have a different mentality than someone who just writes, you know. Like I'm almost thinking of I can think of the full song, you know, as a whole, not just, oh, this is my part or whatever. Even down to the composition, I can like go add back in, oh, okay, I need to add this right here to make this sound crazy, let me even go add this to the beat, or let me cut it off right here. You know, sometimes if you don't even like mixing like I've always just wanted to learn every single part, and it is a lot when you don't like focus in on one. You're kind of like spreading yourself thin, so it's almost like, how do you get big in one thing when you're trying to do all these other things? But I think that's why the internet kind of makes it so now people can get to like you as a person. And now if you DJ, if you do this, if you do that, if you draw, like they kind of like everything that you do, you know?
name, the family name is incorporated at that point. Put the whole family on the payroll, write it off.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what Kanye does. He kind of does everything too, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, I just like that model. I've always wanted to just those are the people who are my goats. You know, it's like the ones who do it all. Like even Kanye, he throws the sound clips in there. Just Pharrell, you know, all these guys, you know, who do everything. Fucking Tyler the Creator, you know, he's fucking raw at that shit.
Yeah, man. He just dropped an album too. I haven't heard it, but I heard it was fucking banging.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it yet either.
It's I heard it was like, you know, because Kendrick dropped Mr. Morale and Tyler hella liked that shit. And he was like, he liked the transparency of it. He liked the honesty. It's a fucking therapy session. So really, Chromacopia is like Tyler's version of that, where he's literally just speaking his honest shit. Feelings about, you know, getting older, and does he want to have a kid, or like just all these things that you think about as you're getting older, you know?
Dude, following him since he was in Odd Future, it's so crazy how much he's grown as an artist. He was like the jackass rapper, dude.
there's people who probably don't even know about the crazy shit. Like, it's funny when you think about things that were allowed back then that are not allowed now. Like, dude, he's talking about like doing crazy shit in songs. You know,
he would have gotten canceled to the point of no return.
You're canceled.
Yo, I'm so mad that none of those YouTube videos have been striked. You know what I mean? Like, I'm getting striked for talking about real shit, and
that's because he's selling out to the engine. You know,
Earl Sweatshirt. You know that video where they make a cocktail of drugs and they start
in the fucking blender thing, right? That shit is crazy, bro.
I mean, Hollywood it's an arm of all that, you know.
That's
so
true
they can't. They're not gonna dock Hollywood when Hollywood is one of their arms.
If he's bringing money in, then it's a done deal.
I feel like Tyler is like one of the dopest examples of like the evolution of an artist. Like even like, dude, the instrumentality in his fucking songs, the way he composes them, it's like
I'm gonna argue to say that
bro.
I'm gonna argue to say that he's one of the only examples we have of the evolution of a person, but seeing them through their artistry. Because not only did we have him in Odd Future, but we had him when he was doing the fucking talk show. Or not the talk show, his show. What's the damn show called? Motor Squad. Yeah. So we got to see all his goofy little things and all his, you know, you got me a birthday present on my birthday for my birthday.
Classic clips.
The classic clip. And so I like really appreciate it because like, I feel like accepting him we would be as a society who we say we are. You know, when we talk about acceptance and, oh, this person is this. And it's like, if we really accepted people and understood that their traumas come out through them in very violent ways sometimes, and it's up and to be honest, like who knows what kind of person he would be if he didn't actually get famous. Like if he didn't actually have an outlet for his art, for his expression, for whatever he was feeling, for whatever he was experiencing, for his life. Like he literally has been through, you know, a lot from what we've seen, and he had an expression and an outlet for all of it. So who knows where that like beginning version of him, where it would have flourished if he didn't have the outlet that he currently has. And I feel like I loved him since the beginning, you know, but my favorite is I love Igor. I love Igor. I want Igor on vinyl. I love Igor. I feel like it's so good. I haven't listened to the new one yet, and I'm scared because I'm like, but I love Igor so much. What am I gonna do? I don't have room for another album. Like I'm not sure.
It's hard because you listen to his new shit, kind of, you know what I mean, comparing it to that.
And to be honest, I didn't listen to Igor until like last year, or maybe this year. And I know it came out like 4 years ago or whatever. And so now that I'm like, he has a new one, I'm like, oh shit, I know it's gonna be good. I know I'm gonna be emotionally attached to it, you know. But my whole point is that I really appreciate seeing him as an artist because he is really an example of what our troubled young youth could be if we give them an outlet, or if they have an outlet, or if they have something to express themselves. Because let's be honest, this nigga was troubled when he first started. He was troubled. The shit he talked about was fucking crazy, and he got lucky because he would have been canceled into oblivion now if he would have been talking about that now. And so it's just it's always like, for me, my experience is always like, the people who are like liberals and the people who are like, oh, we accept everybody who's like, oh, I don't listen to Tyler. And it's like, why not? Have you heard where his trauma has transformed him to as an artist? when you're the one who talks about we should accept everybody and we should honor everybody and who they want to be and how they want to look, and and we're rejecting Tyler because something he made when he was a troubled 17-year-old. Now he's an adult who has admitted and who has shown a softer side of himself and shown this different version of himself. And now we don't want to pay attention to it because of that, So it's I feel like he's one of the artists that we like show a lot of hypocritical or
hypocritical judgment.
Okay, there we go. I'm trying to think of like
I'm just trying to pull from the acres.
Hypocrisy.
That works too.
Hypocrisy.
Yeah, hypocrisy. Yes, I love that. But yeah, I feel like he's one of the artists where we show a lot of that too, because people who I've known who are into music, who claim they're this and this, never listen to a Tyler album or Tyler song outside of what he used to post. And it's like, before Igor, I know there was more shit there. He's been going at it for a long ass time, So anyways, yeah, I appreciate him as a human, as a person, being able to see somebody go from what we can obviously tell is troubled, even as teenagers ourselves, to somebody who is honest and creative and, from the looks of it, healthy. I'll say from the looks of it, because you never know what's going on behind the scenes, but from the looks of it,
Obviously capitalized off of that trauma. That's what you're supposed to do.
I mean,
honestly,
why not?
As far as an artist goes,
Nas X did it.
Yep.
Character development wise, he's top 3 for sure, because it's not just his story. And honestly, The Odd Future, even though if that was planned long term, that contrast of being fucking crazy was a perfect starting point in order to become what he is. So if he planned that out from the get go, genius. You know what I mean? But not just his style and his identity, but you hear in his music too. He's not making crazy experimental. You know what I mean? Horrorcore was what they were talking about. What they were labeling it back then.
What was it called?
Horrorcore or some shit, right?
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean,
the brutality shit.
Yeah, but yeah, his shit now is almost like jazz, almost like Pharrell shit. You know what I mean?
It's so that, I've been thinking about this concept a lot, and it's music in itself as being a vessel for transmutation. Because imagine you have all these people who take these situations of maybe pain or whatever, and then they make it into a song, and now it's this beautiful thing. So it's music itself is a transmutation device. And even when I think about they say drill music and say crazy music like that, and they say, oh, it can alter your brain and make you do stuff. And it's well, I transmute that and I just listen to it when I work out and it makes me go hard. And so obviously if you have an impressionable mind, it can do that. But I just think music in general is a tool for transmutation, because you can take that energy and use it to fuel yourself for whatever you want to do or whatever purpose. If I'm cleaning the kitchen, maybe I'm listening to this. If I'm working out, I want some hard shit.
Yeah, it is a sound vibration. It is a vibration, and it's entering into your ears, and it's turning into an electrical current, right? That's running through your nervous system, running through your synapses, and then it transforms into an image in your head, right, which motivates you. So I mean, that's how that is what chakra is. You know what I mean? So yeah, bro, it does transmit. You got to just learn how to. It's a neuroplasticity, right? So shoot the electricity in a direction that's going to be beneficial for your outcome.
Yeah, that's why I fucks with musicians, because you know what I mean. Primitively, we make our own music. We bang on drums and we talk. We freestyle pretty much, right? And we're living in a world now where fucking, if we die, you know what I mean? Let's say we're in purgatory, or we brought up the pen book, The Dead. If you're in that, you know what I mean, bardo, where you have to, you know what I mean, pass that trial in order to get to the next level type shit, I would put money on, we would probably have some of these pop songs in our head while we're there. You know what I mean? Opposed to, you know what I mean, probably supposed to be singing our own songs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and someone else's song is in your head.
Yeah.
Your own song.
But I guess that's why
I say it all the time. I want to die to certain songs so I can ride that song into, you know what I mean? Heaven.
I'm the same.
You know what I'm saying? But that might fuck me over, because maybe I'm supposed to sing my own song so I can go where I'm supposed to go type shit,
I'm similar, except for I'm not I want to die in that song. I'm I want to fuse with the song and be the song. It's very weird. I'm I want to
definitely make sure it's 352 hertz.
Yeah.
Or it's
That's how I feel
4:32,
about some
right?
of the
Change
songs
the
on
hertz.
Billboard.
32.
Is it 4:33 or 50? Okay, whatever it is.
432.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah,
Well, shit.
432. Yeah.
We went deep. Charmin, Phantom, where can we find you guys?
Definitely on Instagram, FantumMENACE, FantumMENACE right there. It's mostly where I'll be at.
You can find me at CharmingKARMA below, or Good Vibe Galaxy if you want some jewelry. Good Vibe Galaxy, easy. Good Vibe Galaxy. I do crystal wrap jewelry and all this spiritual symbolism and all that good stuff. So,
Well, shit.
yes.
Let's wrap up with this. Top 3 rappers.
Oh shit.
I'm gonna go off with the ones that I listed in the beginning because for me they're influential. I'm gonna go Lil Wayne, MF Doom, and I'm gonna go Kendrick to top it off.
Okay, I'm going with
Kendrick's there.
I'm going with who I like in general. If I listen to them, I'm like, this is absolutely insane. So I'm going with Jay Electronica. I'm going with Kendrick, and I'm going with No Name.
Hell yeah. That's dope.
I
Yeah, we seen Jay Electronica live. Absolutely mind blowing.
I have mixed feelings about him. He was such a tease. He was teasing such crazy projects back then.
He didn't live up to the potential. He didn't live up to the
That's fair. That's fair.
Wasn't he dating a Rothschild?
Yeah.
He actually,
so
no,
crazy.
you got to listen to No Name's Black Mirror. He talks about that song, in that song, Black Mirror.
Yeah, he literally
says
he said it was
was in Knightsbridge pulling bunnies out top hats to get his clout back. He literally says it. He literally said, and for me, I was like, okay, I am not mad because we was like, what is Jay Electronica doing over there? What is he doing?
Yeah.
And then he comes to the song and he's like, yeah, I dated a Rothschild to get my clout back. I was in Knightsbridge pulling bunnies out top hats. I was like, okay, because ain't nobody I know go talk about it in the song. Okay.
Wait. Let me ask you guys this. What would bring him more clout? Releasing a banger album and a crazy disc choreography or just dating a Rothschild? You know what I mean? I don't think dating a Rothschild.
I don't think either.
I feel like when he said clout, I think he meant power, not our perception. I think he's past what people care about him and him putting out music because like he still does features on songs that are fucking crazy still.
Crazy.
I don't even know if he's putting out his own album. And then when he did the project with Jay-Z, that was honestly kind of crazy because on some of the songs I feel like Jay-Z kind of went a little harder on the bars, but I don't know that he's a weird dude. Like he only pops out when he wants. It's
always
like
a surprise. Yeah,
I would say we're gonna talk about free will. That's some free will shit. He said, "Yeah, I could fucking make these songs. Fuck all y'all. I'm not making songs. I'll do a feature when I want to." Like
sometimes the shit he posts, I'd be like, "Jay, what you talking about?"
But he's a Nation of Islam.
Like,
he's a Muslim too, or he's a Nation of Islam, I believe.
Yeah.
So he's Farrakhan'd out too. So
yeah, the song is not Black Mirror, it's Balloons. If you want to hear some crazy shit, go listen to first of all Sundial by No Name, the whole album. Like if you really into rap, you go listen to Sundial by No Name. It was extremely slept on. It was her newest album. If you really into the rap shit, listen to that. But he's on Balloons. And he talks about that. And also his verse is crazy. And he kind of talks about, I feel like he talks about a little bit why he did the Rothschild shit. But I would go listen to that if I was you.
Definitely check that out. Yeah. I really like, what's it called? Eternal Sunshine of Spotless Mind.
Crazy.
My favorite song.
So even like making long ass songs or like for me, the artistry of like doing the outside the box shit, like, this song is not made to get a radio placement. It's not made for none of these things. That is the art that I fucking like. That shit like shifts my mind,
You could play that shit in a fucking art museum. You know what I mean?
Yeah, looking at
I think so.
For real facts. Like walking through, just looking at paintings and shit. Like that's what kind of music do you make? Oh, you know the vibe. You're walking through an art museum, pondering with your hand on your chin.
I mean, but I feel like that's fucking hip hop though. Like that's really what it has the ability to do.
Right.
Oh wait, let me ask you one last question. Do you guys think hip hop is the one genre that like has taken like lyricism to the highest level? Because I don't feel like any other genre really gets as intricate. Like, let's just say rhyme scheme wise, no other genre than hip hop do people rhyme like 10 words in a row. You know what I mean? Like that shit is crazy. Like you got to be smart to do that shit. You know, I don't think people really like think
very mathematical.
It's fucking calculations.
If you really get down to it,
it's crazy because artists like Young Thug. Okay, so I'm gonna get back into witchcraft, like supercalifragilistic. You know what I mean? These crazy spells. They sound like some of the cadence that these rappers rap in. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's the perfect genre of music in order to program people. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because you have the basic, easy drums. You know what I mean? They're not as crazy and fast paced. Then you have these hypnotic lyrics that, you know what I mean, can program.
I mean, if you think about it, that's what it was for. It was to program us against what they were programming us.
Against this.
So it was a anti-programming for what they were already trying to program us into. So it is,
and they seen how good that shit worked, and they were like, "We need to flip it."
The fucking institutions are like, "Hey,
this way, as Black people, as a community, as a whatever, we have to program them to, they're putting out, we're seeing each other getting killed, we're seeing the drugs, we're seeing yada yada. So we have to put out that we're bigger than that we're smart, that we're intelligent, that we're creative, that we love each other, because we have to be able to remind each other that is the truth of who we are, not what they tell us or not what they have convinced us over, years and years of programming is. And
it's fucked up because they took the message, they fucking misconstrued it, and they sold it back to us. They're like, buy this shit, and we just buy it and we consume it. And it's like, this is not what we're supposed to be consuming,
It's crazy. Who was the front runner of that wave? Fucking Diddy, bro.
Okay, so let me
freak offs, man.
Yo, shout out Kanye. Shout out Kanye, bro.
Crazy little thing.
Kanye.
So the whole shit about
fuck them fake gangsters, Diddy. Fucking
you a fed.
Diddy's going down at the same time we have Kendrick rapping like Tupac, putting out an album, putting out the West Coast is on. It's like, it feels like the energy of Tupac is like, that nigga going down. Like, this is the end of it. Like, West Coast, like, if it's crazy. This is like West Coast versus East Coast, like, spiritually. Like, this is the last final battle. Fucking Tupac's energy come through. Diddy's getting wiped out. Like,
yo, I don't know if I said it in the last show we had you on, but I feel like if Kendrick gets popped, he's gonna go down as a more iconic figure than Tupac, just because of, you know what I mean. This goes beyond, like, this is like pedophilia now in like the industry. You know what I mean? It's like Tupac and Michael Jackson combined. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, at this point, like he's up there now. He literally came out with a crown of thorns and a diamond. Like, he's basically personified.
If he were to get popped, pictures would come out with his face right next to Tupac's face, like they do a Martin Luther King and they do a Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey. It will be him, it will be Nipsey, and it will be Tupac.
Don't forget Kobe. Probably put Kobe up there too.
I mean, that's fair, but he don't count because he's a basketball player. But that's
Kobe did rap though.
We'll take it just because
he did rap though.
Kobe did rap.
Those will definitely be, if you go to the smoke shop, them is definitely in the smoke shop for sure. For sure. The Zoomies may or may not have Kobe, but
in the Bay Area, it's the Jacka. Rest in peace to Jacka.
Oh man, rest in peace to Jacka. Facts. And Mac Dre. It'll be Kendrick, Tupac, and Mac Dre. That would be fire. I would wear that so quickly. I really would.
Mount Rushmore to West. Yeah.
Oh, who's your three? I don't think I've asked you your top three, bro.
I know. I hate that.
Lupe's up there. Lupe Fiasco up there.
Same.
Lupe Fiasco up there. He dropped that one album that just sounded like fucking like seasons changing. That shit changed my fucking life. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, that fool is so crazy. Like, it's hard.
Tetsuo and you. But I would have to go with definitely Wayne. Wayne is just a machine. You know what I mean? Like, you cannot stop that machine. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna put tracks out till his dreads fall out. And then probably the final one I gotta give it to Eminem, bro. He's the only artist that's gotten an award from the poets. It's like a poetry society, the most renowned poetry society in the whole world. They basically, they gave him an award for one of his flows, and basically just ushered him into like the Hall of Fame of true poets, like a real poets. So yeah, you got to give it to M. He got his flowers.
I was gonna name Eminem as one of the better iconic rap figures that showed character development, but his style of music didn't really evolve as much as Tyler the Creator's did. You know,
I mean, it's just it's the mathematical and the lyrical prowess that you that
for
is,
sure.
I'm not really focused on the construction of the actual songs and stuff. I'm just like, if you could spit that fast and have that many double entendres, and it's like multi-dimensional lyrics that he has, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm picking apart.
Shit, well, enough with mine. Top 3. Now it's Kendrick. Kendrick's up there now. Lupe Fiasco. And I say everyone sleeps on this, man. DMX. I feel like people sleep on DMX, bro.
R.I.P.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Well, shit. Follow us on all social media platforms to stay updated with the Cave. That's at the K4V3. And check out our website at cave.com, K4V3.com. Peace out, guys.
Peace out.
Later.
What's side?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Get the money.
Bentley gang. Cave gang.